clueless hero ends up in a huge, dead quiet line, just standing there like he never saw it coming. Everybody's shoved into the same lifeless white robes, marching forward into some blank, nameless nowhere, because who really knows where they're headed? He stares ahead and remembers what his senpai used to swear: there could be life after death. If that's true, then why does this world look like a dead, endless parade with no end in sight? The vibe is painfully familiar. After a truck just bulldozed him out of existence, he gets one last, grim walk across the Sanzu River. He whips around to the guy beside him, a faceless nobody in the crowd, and forces himself to confirm how absolutely insane it all is. Yeah, like clockwork, the way he knew it would go, and the other guy just nods along, dead certain. Our hero isn't even angry, just stunned. "I never thought I'd die this young," he mutters, and this eerie calm settles in. Turns out he'd always been a loner, pushing everyone away before they could get close. Honestly, his home life was pure chaos, screaming shadows and reaching hands everywhere, and he never once felt safe with his own family, so yeah, this almost felt like a relief. Right then, he catches a wild commotion up ahead. Seriously, even in the afterlife, bullies still run the show. A couple goons are beating up some poor kid, and a spark hits him like lightning because he's already dead, and yet it's still going to break his heart. What's the worst that could happen? For the first time in his life, he decides to step in and do something. He lunges forward and absolutely smashes the lead bully straight in the jaw. Then, without letting up, he whips in a savage kick with his leg. He yanks the thug clan off his feet with a savage yeet. The guy crashes to the ground, utterly stunned. "Wef, are you dying?" But our hero doesn't even hear him as he slams his foot down with a brutal, satisfying crunch. Once the mess is dealt with, he hauls the kid he rescued up off the ground and shouts, "Hey, are you okay?" The kid's frozen in shock, then bursts out, "Thank you so much, my name's Hikaru." Turns out Hikaru's only 15, while the guy he just saved looks way older, and the poor kid is mortified. 15, what the hell is wrong with me? Did I seriously get rescued by someone 3 years younger? But don't call him a sore loser. He yanks out a heavy pouch like, "All right, I've got something," and then he tells me, "Don't worry, I'll give you this in return." Our hero's completely baffled. He's watched everyone else strut around with these pouches, but when he checks himself, he's got nothing. Still, he digs in his heels. "It's the least I can do." He grabs the bag as the guy waves, then vanishes into the crowd. "And you're incredibly kind." Then a smooth voice slices through the silence like a spark. Suddenly, this sharply dressed blonde guy pops out of nowhere like he landed from the wrong timeline, totally out of place. Hold on, our guy is totally thrown off because this new arrival is wearing the usual afterlife robe, and he's like, why's he dressed so different? Then, bam, the blonde man wastes zero time. "Come to my world and live in my house." Before our hero can even process that unhinged pickup line, the man yanks his coat open, bam, exposing a gruesome fatal wound blooming across his torso, and he just shrugs like it's nothing. "I'm gonna die soon." Our boy's brains fry. "Wait, you're dying? But aren't we already in the afterlife?" He snaps back, "Yep, we're both dead." And the blonde finally admits he used his special crossing the world ability, and this is where it runs out. He steps straight into our hero's face, eyes blazing with desperate plays. "Please, please come to my world and make my wish come true." Then bam, he unleashes the bombshell, the ultimate sales pitch, and if you go for it, his voice hits like it's powered by something not even from this world. You can get reincarnated again, like fate's hitting restart on you. Revival, our hero gets slammed with a second chance, and it leaves him absolutely floored. The blonde clocked that she had him hooked and struck a deal. Live your life your way, as long as you pull off her one request, and since he's basically days away from dying, there's no fear of consequences for him. Our guy fires off the million-dollar question, "What's the price?" And that blonde's grin is pure trouble, saying, "Don't worry, nothing bad's gonna happen to you, trust me." Since there's literally no other choice on the table, then fine, I'm heading into your world and hearing everything you've got to say. The blonde cracks a grin and introduces himself as Roland Nuizerok. As soon as he talks, a huge, glowing magic circle explodes under their feet, and he vows, "I'll hand you my body." A blinding flash tore through everything, then warmth flooded back, and suddenly he could feel his hands and feet again. His eyes snapped open. He stumbles ahead, trapped in this brand new body that feels totally alien, and somehow weirdly familiar at the same time. He snaps his gaze to the mirror and his breath catches like he's seen a ghost. It's him, the old him, he's back, really back. But that euphoria doesn't last. Holan's mind gets slammed with a tidal wave of memories, and a brutal headache rips through his skull. The memories lock in, every detail matches, and yeah, this is 100% real. The only way out was simple: kill a man. And that fine print, it's merciless. Miss the hit within 1 hour and your soul gets wiped clean, like it never existed. Then Roland's spectral form surged up beside him. Our snaps echoed as his eyes burned with fury, and he hissed, "So you really did trick me, huh?" Roland has the nerve to look offended, like I didn't just tell you the truth. Our main man is done with this, so tell me what's wrong with you, and why you're trying to get me to kill somebody. Roland's face hardens as rage surges. His target is Count Morx, the corrupt noble who slaughtered his parents. Roland went after revenge himself, but he crashed and burned. Desperate and backed into a corner, he jammed a cursed soul-sucking stone against the Count, hoping it would end him, only for it to turn on him, and now his own soul is draining away into nothing. The ultimatum crushes the air: kill the Count within the hour, or both of their souls get wiped from existence forever. Brutal, yeah, but it's the only shot he's got. The weight of his choice crushes his chest, and no matter what he does, he's got 1 hour left, trapped, cornered, and running out of time. Rage stole his courage, and he wheeled on Roland. "Fine, I'll help, but you pay with my life." Roland nods. "Then I'll hand you this gift, straight up, and sharpen my senses like a blade." Our hero's totally thrown off. Then, out of nowhere, a holographic screen snaps into existence right in front of his face. It's the soul board. Hikaru's name is right at the top. 15 years old, rank 0, 15 points. What the hell is this? Roland's spirit starts slipping away, and I can feel my strength draining fast. So while I'm still here, I'm telling you everything you need to know. The pressure's crushing him. 5 minutes are already gone, leaving him just 55. He has to force himself to breathe, get his head clear, and figure this out fast. He taps the screen. Bam, a prompt pops up asking if he wants to unlock the soul board, and it'll cost 1 energy point, and he immediately agrees. It slams into him the second it activates. This is a full-on skill system, like in a video game, and he can spend points to level up and get stronger. His mission is crystal clear: assassinate the Count. Now he just needs the perfect tools to pull it off. He swipes across the screen, and boom, he spots a bunch of tabs, each one hiding even more skills just waiting to be unlocked. He scrolls through 7 different screens of abilities, each one packed with its own power set. "I knew it, this was basically one of those PC tablet things," he mutters under his breath. 49 minutes left, no time for sightseeing. He has to lock in his skills and move right now. He flicks his eyes over agility, strength, and magic immediately feels like a tangled mess. He has no clue if this body can even pull it off, while strength sounds helpful, just not for a stealth mission. Then it hits him right there in front of his eyes, the perfect skill: stealth. He slams the unlock button and burns a point in the process. Then he starts slamming his last points into the stuff that actually matters: life detection, magic power, and perception, and he drives perception to max first. The moment he does, a secret skill branches out from it like lightning. Assassination, turning an attack like a weapon's own steering wheel to make it deadly. That's exactly what he craves right now, and the grim determination on his face says it all. He drops 3 points to max it out, so he can take down his target for good. And boom, just like that, Sniper unlocks a whole new level of insane power. He's out of moves, 25 minutes left on the clock, and it's go time. He inhales hard, then flips stealth on like a switch. A wild feeling crashes over him as his body turns see-through. He flings his hands up in front of his face and can barely make them out. So come on, is it actually working? He rockets down the hallway, and Roland's memories slam into place, steering him straight to the council hall in the heart of the city. He strides right past the desk clerk like he's invisible, and the guy doesn't even blink. This power is straight up unfair. He bolts into the pouring rain, Roland's key from memory clenched tight in his fist. 25 minutes left. Storm clouds are ripping across the sky and battering him from every side. He tracks down the target's mansion, only to find the back door sealed shut, so he has no choice but to crash through the front. Then he slips in between 2 guards, chatting away and totally blind to what's happening. This stealth skill totally flips the game. He slips behind a pillar as fresh guards flood past, then rockets up the stairs, but he's soaked to the bone from the rain. His boots slap a fresh puddle onto the floor, and one guard spots it instantly. "Hey look, someone just wet the floor." Our hero's heart is pounding like a drum in his chest, but the other guard just laughs it off. Yeah, it's raining outside, so of course it's those alchemists, guild people messing things up, and somehow crisis averted. He keeps moving in that invisible ghost state, slipping through the halls like he's never been seen. 15 minutes left, and that tension is choking the air. He spots a ribbon of light spilling out from under the very last door at the end of the corridor. He hears a voice blaring from inside, and yeah, that Baron's a complete idiot. There he is, yeah, I found him at last. The weight of his mission slams into his chest. He's seconds from killing the man standing in front of him. He's right in front of the door, hand floating over the handle, while the rain hammers the windows outside. He jerks in a shaky breath, then shoves the door wide open. His mind spins in frantic panic and frantic pep talks. It's fine, we're gonna be okay, I'll handle it, we've got this right. A sudden flash of his own death hits him. He sees the truck and the brutal impact, and it knocks the breath out of him. Life is so fragile, people drop like nothing. 10 minutes left, he better pull this off right now, or he's dead. The door groans as it swings open. The Count, chubby cheeks, legendary mustache and all, snaps his eyes up from his desk. Oh. He stares into the empty doorway, shrugs it off like nothing, and tells himself it was all just his imagination. Fine, I'll just kick back and keep reading, he mutters, grinning like the Zarasha family's finally gone for good. You're wrong. Hikaru slices through the silence and appears behind the desk like a ghost, and the Count nearly leaps out of his skin. Who the hell are you? Roland's ghost bursts onto the scene, grinning like a nightmare. Then the Count starts sputtering. What the hell are you doing here? Are you crazy? Roland just stares him down and says, I'm Roland Nui Zarasha. Then Hikaru jabs the dagger Roland left behind and slams down the final verdict. I'll kill you. Roland's spirit rips into him with a warning, because I'm not letting your memories get stained by murder. But this Count isn't some helpless old fool. He slips the first strike with shocking speed, then lunges straight for his desk drawer. He's not about to go down without a fight. But Roland warns you, don't ever underestimate him, because he'll surprise you. Hikaru clenched his teeth. Don't you dare underestimate me either. All right, I'm ready to go all in. The Count's eyes widen. He's clearly outmatched, so he lurches for the door and screams like his soul is on fire. But Hikaru is lightning. He surges forward and clamps down on the old man's ankle with a vice-like grip. He's slammed into the floor, crashing hard. While the Count is still reeling, Hikaru crashes onto him and drives the dagger home. Then blood erupts across the spotless floor. It's over. Hikaru crumples in place, gasping for breath as the adrenaline drains out of him, and that empty void rushes in. He's staring at his shaking hands, and he can't even breathe. So you really killed him, and Roland's voice keeps echoing right beside him. Hikaru glares at the spirit like, so you plan to pull this off yourself from the start, huh? Roland's grin turns sly. Yeah, I did. I figured it'd be better for you, but now we're both in this together, right? He erupts into a cackle, finally spilling the shady truth. Now that his revenge is finally done, Roland's spirit starts to blaze with light. Thank you, my mission is over. This body is yours now. As the light fades, Hikaru finally finds his voice. My name is Hikaru. Roland's words drift in on the wind. Thank you, and I'll keep praying for you forever. So trust me, your future is about to shine so bright it'll blind them. He is gone. That silence hits like a punch to the gut, deafening in every corner. Oh no, Hikaru whispers, and the full weight of what he just did comes crashing down on him. He actually went through with it. He murdered that man. Right when panic starts to claw at everyone, a shadow bursts into the doorway. A young woman with razor-sharp silver hair stands there, and her face tells you nothing at all. Hikaru goes stone still, all crashing into her as she's totally mesmerized by her beauty, yet panic claws at her because getting caught would destroy everything. She snaps the silence, then the bell starts pounding and the knights are rushing in. You hear it boom boom, those armored boots slamming down the hall like a countdown to trouble. He's trapped and his stealth is done. But then the girl whips her arm toward the balcony. There's a rope ladder up there, and you can climb down straight from it. He's completely stunned. Why would she help him of all people, a total stranger? With the knights bearing down on him, there's zero time to think, so he bolts for it. I'm going, okay? She screams after him, just go. He vaults over the railing the second the guard crashes into the room, only to find the Count's body waiting there. He's gone dead, and the guard's scream rips through the air. Hikaru scrambles down the rope ladder like his life depends on it. Everybody sprint to the second floor, don't let him slip away. But the silver-haired girl just stands her ground, eyes steady, as he slips away into the night. He sprints till his lungs scream, then crumples at last into the cold, quiet hush of a graveyard. He's completely spent, body worn out, emotions shattered. All night long it feels like a fever dream. Why would that mysterious girl let him go? He clenches his right hand, and the dagger's phantom sting still won't fade. In this wild new world, the only truth that hits him like a gut punch is the crushing weight of everything he's done. A few days have gone by since our poor, unsuspecting lad got yeeted straight into this new world. He already threw down his first move, turning himself into an adventurer for good. All right, hear me out, keep earning money and the real prize. Snag a guild ID so he can slip in unnoticed. His first mission is a hilariously simple fetch quest. Go grab a batch of poisonous plants. He drifts through the woods, keeps to himself, then boom, he spots a lone flower standing out. But right when he starts reminding himself that the mission's true purpose is staying razor-sharp and on guard, A wild boar explodes out of the bushes and he jumps like a startled cat. Then he drops his shoulders and lets out a shaky sigh of relief, convinced it was just a boar. That's when a shadow smacks over him and he jerks his head up, his blood turning ice gold, as a colossal, menacing green wolf towers over his every move, eyes blazing with pure predatory hunger. Yeah, this is bad, like asterisk super asterisk bad. Guild records say these monsters aren't just vicious, they stalk in savage packs and their detection range is ridiculously huge. And yep, he's right in the dead center of it, staring everything down. Then chaos explodes, he steps in, and the wolves totally ignore him, sniffing around like he's invisible, like he's nothing but a ghost, and our guy is left staring in shock as he finally feels the brutal power of his protection blessing. Yeah, this world hands out blessings through a guild power app, basically a fantasy smartphone that grants power with a tap. Depending on what you pick, you unlock different perks, and the shorter the blessing's name, the more it hits like a truck. And his protection blessing is a top-tier stealth skill, perfect, ruthless, and totally unhinged for him. So what does our main man do? He just drops to one knee, right on top of these deadly predators, and starts picking flowers like he's at a peaceful Sunday picnic. He shoves everything into his bag, flashes the clueless wolf pack a quick nod, then saunters straight into the forest like nothing in the world can touch him. He comes barreling back to the Adventurers Guild, and that massive, looming building hits him like a wall of steel. Only to spot a couple of low-level goons creeping up on Flurichin, trying to hit on the receptionist, and even though they're laying it on thick, she shuts them down with effortless precision. Right then Hikaru bursts through the door and Flowerous' face lights up like a sunrise. She greets him warmly, and that's when the two chumps can't help but lock onto him. One shady-looking guy slides right up in his face and barks that he has to wait his turn. He flexes for the camera and calls himself Chernenko Hragalo, fully betting that our guy will fold the second he hears the name. But Hikaru's got a fresh move. He can read other people's soul boards, their stat screens, and even this guy's stats, pure trash, cranked to the absolute limit with barely any strength to back it up. So Hikaru hits him with a straight-up troll, asking why a real adventurer is wasting time flirting with the receptionist instead of going on a mission. Jornenko completely loses it. She screams at him, "Shut up." His buddy has to haul him off, but only after he fires Hikaru a look that screams, "You're about to regret this, big time." Floor's completely losing it, total panic just grips him. "Are you seriously okay with this?" she asks, panic spiking as she realizes he just picked a fight with someone truly dangerous. She fires a warning at him. Chernenko's a monster in the guild, known for raw strength. Roby just snorts, shrugging like it's nothing, saying, "I don't buy it, I don't think they're that strong." He breaks it down. Power in this world comes from blessings, and somehow he's sitting on a ridiculously stacked, top-tier selection. While some advanced adventurers juggle 4 blessings and legends stack 5, that's what pushes the mythic tier into straight-up myth status. Our hero's got a downright legendary stack of titles, so wild they'd make a demon king blush, like Night Stalker, Blessing of the Typhoon, and that infamous assassin thing. Yeah, assassin thing. He waves off her worries like they don't matter and snaps back to his mission, clutching his quest items as he turns. He dumps the bag on the counter and Fleur freezes in shock. "This is all I got," he says like it's no big deal. She stares at him like he's grown 3 heads out of nowhere. Yeah, that's exactly the vibe. As she talks, she reveals the place he went is packed to the brim with vicious griffin wolves. And there aren't any green wolves around, so she jabs a finger out and grills him with an accusing look. As soon as he confirms it, she smacks her hands together, totally stunned like, no way, he must have gotten insanely lucky. He rushes in and gets his evaluation finished. And they toss him a fat bag of coins as payback for the trouble he just went through. He flashes Fleur a real, warm smile and barrels out a heartfelt "thank you for everything." Right when she wasn't ready for it, he pushed past the moment because he was about to leave. He grins and decides he's got time for one more mission. Fleur's face practically glows and she blurts, "If that's true, I'll hunt down the absolute best missions for Hikaru-san." She darts off to track them down, and our boy can't stop himself from clocking the real reason every adventurer piles up at her counter. While he sits there waiting, his thoughts drift straight back to the girl who saved him, because since that incident, he hasn't heard a single thing from her. Fleur bursts back in, slamming into him like a shockwave. And he decides to fish for answers, like real casual. Then he leans in and asks, "So, have you heard anything around town?" "So, someone this important gets killed." She totally freezes, whispers back, "Where'd you hear that from?" like it's the most dangerous secret she's ever kept. He acts clueless, swearing his memory's all foggy, while she's dead sure no other adventurers are mixed in. But wait, government officials show up at the guild and demand they investigate the murder. She slips in close, whispers, and drops the kind of secret only you and him are meant to hear. Right before he switched gears, he shoved a thick stack of carefully picked missions into his hands. He thanks her again, this time with real awe for her unbelievable hospitality. And then she just melts like ice giving up. Turns out adventurers can be sweet as can be, but only in the most surprising way. And she's wishing the world had more guys like him, because right now, that girl is totally flustered. He scrolls through the best missions and it's all non-stop chores, scrubbing, fixing the roof, and even chatting with senior citizens. With a straight face, our hopeless hero stares her down and snaps, "Excuse me, but I'm refusing all of them." And honestly, that's a straight-up savage move. Instead, he jumps into a quest and goes hunting redhorn rabbits. Floor says they're brutal to take down because their detection is razor-sharp and their speed is straight-up insane. But for our stealthy hero, it's effortless. He slips in behind them so quietly they don't even feel him coming. He pauses for a heartbeat, totally thrown off. This whole killing business feels foreign again. But his gaze turned ice cold, and he lands it dead on target. The second that rabbit drops, a blinding light crashes over him. Boom, he levels up. His soul rank shoots higher right then and there. A power he knows he can't possibly be the only one who's got. New points burning in his pocket, he charges back to the guild. His whole plan is simple: grind quests, stack cash, and keep his head down until the entire Count murder mess finally blows over. As he strolls through town, he suddenly catches a couple of patrol riders gossiping just ahead. The second Count Morgus gets mentioned, his ears shoot up because they've just found the murderer. Those words smashed into him like a freight train. He stands there utterly stunned because deep down he can't accept it. It was him who killed the Count. Who did they snag? He's got to dig up the truth, and he needs it right now. He storms back to the guild, locks eyes with the quest board, and gets so lost in thought he barely blinks. Floor snaps him out of his thoughts like a lightning strike. He's just showing up to hand in his rabbit quest. An old man gets yanked over to appraise the horn. Hikaru shoots him a quick look, clocking him as nothing more than some random appraiser. Then he fires up his single-board vision, and boom, the old man, Junkin Feeblezak, is an absolute beast. His stats are absolutely insane, way off the charts. And he's got a technique called *massive disruption ***, way nastier than even Hikaru's. The old man dropped LL Soul boards on us. Hikaru doesn't even hesitate. There's no doubt in his gut that this guy is the guild master. The guild master clocks him staring and snaps, "Are you eyeing me like I'm some kind of target?" And his voice turns downright icy. Hikaru instantly backpedals, cool as ice, pretending it's all totally under control. Later that day, once the last shift was done, he finally breathed out. Hikaru closes in on Floor and blurts, "I need to ask you something personal," his voice turning deadly serious. She snaps straight into full-blown panic mode. He strides through the city, convinced Floor must be hiding some crucial clue about the investigation. Suddenly his senses shriek, someone's tailing him and he knows it. He snaps his eyes over and catches the silhouette staring back at him. It's Chernenko and his crew, and they're on a mission to take heads. Thanks to his razor-sharp detection, he can practically sense their murderous intent from 10 whole meters away. A wicked smirk flashes across his face, and he darts into an alley. The thugs barrel forward and then hit a wall, dead end. Where the hell did he vanish to? Chernenko roars. There he stands right in front of them, totally invisible, and he bursts into a nasty cackle. "I'm right in front of you too, but I've got my hands full right now." He slips past the goons and storms into a cafe to meet Floor. He stumbles on her waiting there, and she's not in her uniform, and wow, she looks absolutely incredible. He leans in and tells her she looks amazing, and blushes explode across her cheeks like she's about to combust. They plop down right as everything is about to change. And before he even has time to breathe, he jumps right in, only for her to grin and play dumb, acting like he invited her out for tea just so she can squeeze the truth out of him. To make it up, he promises to buy her anything she wants off the menu. Her face lights up instantly as she finally orders the one thing she's been dying to try. The waiter storms back with a giant fruit smoothie, and somehow it's got 2 huge straws. Floor is mortified. "Hey, no," she blurts, but Hikaru won't back off. "You have to act like a man and drink it with me," he demands. After a bit of sweet talking, she finally relents. They leaned in close together, like they were about to share a secret that could change everything. They both take a sip, and instantly their faces light up. This is insanely delicious. The vibe hits just right, and he goes for the kill. Then he turns to you and says, "I've got a question. I've heard they've finally dragged Count Morgus' murderer into custody." The moment it hits, her smile snaps away, her eyes turn hard as steel, and the room chills in an instant. Then she bears down and growls, "Where did you hear that?" He swears he got it from the patrolman, but she shuts him down, insisting it's top secret, off-limits classified info. He shoots out an apology for pushing him. Then he feeds you a half-truth. His buddy swears the Count messed up his life with a bad experience that. And just like that, it totally does the trick. She finally cracks and tells him the killer they found dead will be dragged to the royal court in 3 days for sentencing. The last piece clicks into place, and terror hits him like a truck, the very first person who found him dead right there in that spot. Yeah, it's impossible, right? The girl who saved his life is now getting dragged into custody like she's a criminal. Rage tightens his gaze into a razor-sharp glare, and then he snaps. That makes no sense at all. He clenches his fist, and a fierce new resolve lights up his chest. I have to go. This is my turn to save her now. 2 guards prowl a dim mansion, their boots thudding through the silence, and the night watch is nearly done. One of them practically can't wait, letting out a huge sigh of relief. His partner, a chronic worrier, just snaps back. You worry way too much, nothing's going to happen. But they're dead wrong, because from the shadows our boy is silently stalking them, grim as stone, and the last thing he ever expected was to return to this miserable place. He already ransacked the guard station and the detention center, but she wasn't there, so it screams one thing: she's still trapped somewhere inside the Count's residence. The guards' voices follow him, and one warns that security's getting tighter, making everything feel even more doomed. Alone in that long, dead-empty hallway, our main guy scans every shadow, because the real burning question hits hard: where are they hiding her? He lunges for the nearby door, but it's bolted shut tight, so tight it might as well be mocking him. Rage spills out as he curses his bad luck. If only he had real lockpicking skills, this whole mess would have been solved in seconds. Right then, footsteps thunder in and he ducks back fast. A guard patrol again, but this time it's not alone. A dog is with them. A massive, snarling Doberman charges down the hall, sniffing like it owns the place, and our hero just freezes, utterly lost, totally stunned. Then this wild idea detonates in his head. Using his shady occult god power, he can mess with the dog's senses, and suddenly it feels like it could be seriously useful. Like it got the signal, the dog rockets straight to one door and erupts in non-stop barking, snapping its handler to alert. The guard shrugs, assumes the dog just needs a quick potty break, and flips the lock with a crisp little click. And he swings it wide open, and boom, there it is, a wildly extravagant, super elegant bedroom. He leans in, searches the spot, and finds absolutely nothing, so he drops to his knees and pats his partner. See, no sign of anything, maybe you're just starving. And that's when our boy drops his galaxy brain move. He shuts off his stealth so the dog can catch his scent, then slams it back on the second the guard turns around, trolling both man and beast just to pry the door open for himself. A totally successful, high-risk gamble. So close it hurt, but he pulled it off. He's in. He suddenly finds himself in a library-looking maze, with bookshelves stacked wall to wall. He yanks out a random adventure book, then another and another. Same routine, because this room is built for someone who's desperate to escape. The interior is so elegant it practically screams, this is a young woman's bedroom. Then he spots it caught in the corner, hanging like a ghost, the exact same dress from that night. This is her room. It doesn't look like anyone's touched it lately, so she's got to be somewhere else, but before he can dig in, he hears more footsteps closing in fast. He slips into the room right as 2 more guards stroll past, yawning and grumbling that they're too damn sleepy. They're whispering and giggling, then one of them turns to you and goes, "Hey, I heard what you said." Our hero presses his ear to the door, breath held, soaking up every word, because they're talking about the investigation, and it turns out they've already nabbed the killer. They're talking about Tour, and now they're gearing up to drag her straight to the capital. Then the guard drops an absolute bombshell, and it's heartbreaking knowing she's stuck in that filthy basement. Bingo, his eyes snap wide open, and boom, she's been underground the entire time. He spots a hidden door in the floor in seconds, and it swings open to reveal the basement entrance. He leans over the stairs, spies one lone guard at the bottom, and can't help but think perfect timing. He tiptoes down and yanks at the door, then slams right into the fact that it's locked. The key is probably upstairs with one of the guards. Then the second he starts back up, voices explode in the air again. 2 guards are coming down the hallway next, one swaggering like he's bragging about almost getting it on with a maid last night. And the others keep roasting him for it. She's a keeper, one of them says, while she's literally blocking my way in front of the entrance. His buddy leans in and tells him, "Come on, let's go check on that girl together." "All right, your turn, I'm heading out no matter what," the first guard growls as he yanks a key from his belt. This is a disaster. The hallway is so tight they'll clip right into him even if they sneak, and now he's been fully cornered, his whole plan crushed. A grim thought slithers through his head: murder. He could wipe them both out, neither one's wearing armor, so it'd be a total cakewalk. The weight of the choice slams him down. Can he really murder two innocent men just because they made a wrong turn and crossed his path? His face twists into pure desperation and steel, and he knows he has to. He lifts his dagger high, muscles locking up tight, eyes fixed, ready to strike, but then out of nowhere, a sharp voice booms from the top of the stairs. It's the maid, and she's fuming. The guard is totally blindsided as she tears into Sir East for passing out in the women's rooms at the taverns. The other guard threw his hands over his face, waved him on, and muttered, "Go ahead, I don't care what happens to you." The maid practically yanks the flustered knight up the stairs, and the moment she turns, our boy vanishes, slipping right back into the shadows. Another guard trails behind them, and the hallway goes totally dead silent, like some kind of miracle just happened. Then it hits him right there on the wall, hanging loose and ignored in all that chaos, is the key that... At last the pressure snaps, our hero crumples to the wall, and his breath comes in loud, shaky bursts. It was way too close, one wrong move, and everything would have shattered. He just missed becoming a killer by a hair, and that moment is going to crawl into his mind and haunt him for the rest of his life. He steels himself, sure, saving her is the right move, but if everything spirals, he'll have to face brutal choices head-on. Sometimes killing is unavoidable. But he shoves that dark thought aside like it's poison. He'll deal with it later. Right now, something bigger demands his attention. He twists the lock and bursts inside. There, bathed in a soft glow, a beautiful young woman sits calmly in a rune-carved magical prison, eyes locked on her. She tilts her gaze up, face unreadable, and fires back, "Who are you?" He takes one step forward and then, no hesitation, he says, "I'm the one who killed the Count," before punching out, "I'm here to save your life." She flashes a grateful smile, then shuts it down fast. This isn't something anyone can beat. It's a magic prison, and she can't even lay a hand on it. It was forged by the Alchemist Guild's master himself, and only he holds the key to open it. Killing him might be the only key. Our boy swears his mind is still stuck in that dark place, and she stares back at him with eyes sharp as glass. "You can't murder innocent people," she snaps, and her words slice straight through his spiraling thoughts. His mind's nothing but a thick fog. That brutal call-out slams into him. He sputters hard, but then I cut in. "I saved your life, so why aren't you rushing out of here?" Her reply is totally unhinged. She snaps, and her eyes shut tight. "I don't want to." Then she spits the reason: "Because I've already served my purpose since you killed that man." He's left speechless, and when he finally speaks, he confirms it. She really is the Count's daughter. He murdered her father, and she's still standing there stone calm. "Don't stare at me like that," she says, voice icy. She tells you the cage wasn't made just to trap her. It was built with absurd care by the Alchemist Guild, poured into for one specific, deadly purpose. She thrusts her hand out toward him, like she's about to make her move. A brutal, crackling blast of power erupts from it, rattling the air in the room like thunder. "What the hell?" our hero screams, then stumbles backward like he's fighting for his life. She's got insane magic power, but she's locked into one single style: destructive magic. She thanks him again, wearing a tiny, heartbreaking smile, and I'm sitting there realizing I had no clue anyone would actually want to help me. She even turns around and demands, "Who pinned that murder on him?" while she's stuck paying the price. Then she's forced to face her grim fate. 3 days from now, they'll drag her to the capital, where the king will turn her into a living weapon, unleashing a secret assassin to wipe out his enemies and sealing her existence as a forever dark stain on history. She tosses it out like it's nothing, and our guy just can't take it. "So you're saying the king will use your powers to turn you into a murderer, right to your face?" He blurts it out, completely stunned. She looks almost relieved, like for one heartbeat, someone actually cared about her. This is way too much. How could she quit life so easily? His resolve turns to steel, and when she says, "It's time," he finally understands. He has to run before the patrol shows up. But then he notices it. Her hands clutching her book are trembling like they can't even hold on. He still remembers every wild adventure novel stacked in her room. This isn't someone who's quitting, this is someone trapped in pure terror, screaming there's no escape, and he leans in, voice soft but unshakable. "At least tell me your name." She answers, "You'll just forget it." It already knows, so it doesn't need to hear any of this. But he snaps right back, "No, of course not, I woe." Then he leans in and says, "My name's Hikaru now, what's yours?" Her perfect composure finally cracks in an instant. Tears spill down her cheeks as she gasps out, "Lavia von Moristad." Then she blurts it again, "I'm Lavia." She pleads with him, blurting, "Just call me La La La, I need you." Then she stops dead, realizing the truth hits hard. Of course you don't. She begs him to shut his mouth and stop, because if he keeps going, he'll hand her hope she can't survive losing. But it's already over. Our hero locks eyes with her, his gaze set in stone because he's still going to save you. He keeps going, "You're right, I don't want to slaughter innocent people, so don't worry, I'll pull you out of here without killing anyone." He's about to crash into her life, whether she agrees or not, and in just 3 days during her trip to the capital, the moment will finally hit. "Can I really trust you?" she whispers, shaking like a leaf. "If I do, won't I just become a burden?" He waves it off like it's nothing. "I don't care. I'm the one whose life you already saved, so if you could save me." She slips her hand through the magical bars, and her face twists with raw, stormy emotions. "I'll give everything to save you," he swears. Later, the guards rush back and spot Livia flat out passed out like she's asleep. The clock is roaring louder by the second. 3 days are all you've got to pull off the escape plan. The scene snaps forward, our boy's back at the Adventurers Guild, cooking up his next play, because before he can go snatch Livia back, he has to grab the cash first so he can hide her right after. He grits his teeth. Flerchen isn't here, and that means his usual receptionist isn't in his sights either. He storms over the quest board, but the low-level missions are total trash. Right then, a new receptionist glides up with a smile so sweet it feels like a trap. "Can I see your guild card?" She snatches it, but her smile wobbles, because Hikaru is just some ordinary civilian, and she can't wrap her head around why Flair is so insanely obsessed with someone this painfully average. Something else has to be out there, she thinks, then leans in and asks him if he's got any more blessings to spare. He's acting like an idiot, straight up. She's sure he's sitting on some legendary power, and that Flair told him to lock it away and never spill the secret. To win his favor, she slides him the perfect chance to impress with a rookie request. A no-big-deal delivery mission: grab 200 gillen and get out fast. She orders him to wait right there for her at the stall outside. Our hero says yes, but don't get it twisted. He's sharp enough to see exactly where this ride is headed. This delivery's headed straight for the shady part of town. He fires up his stealth skill and slips into a shadowy sewer entrance crawling with bats. He instantly catches two thugs badmouthing things, and yeah, easy fix would be wiping out their customers and grabbing their loot, but their boss apparently can't stand blood. He keeps pushing deeper with them, eyes locked on their trail, because they're clearly stalking someone. Now's the perfect moment to try his brand new upgraded stealth combo. He slaps on magic lock and a fresh skill called sensory deprivation, and it makes him so invisible that people walk right past him, and their brains straight up refuse to register he's even there. Those thugs are hustling to meet their boss, Kelbeck, right now. Our boy gets this weird, gut-deep pull from the name, like fate is pointing, and he's about to meet the person he's been destined for. Sure, the guy's called the obsolete toolmaker, but Hikaru can feel it's just the cover, because there's way more to him than that. They slam up against a fortified door, then guards shepherd them inside to a hidden hideout. The boss, face tattooed with raging flames, stretches out with his feet on the desk, then snaps the second his subordinates clock in for being 5 minutes late. "Both of you are to blame," he snarls. After tearing into them without mercy, he swings his hand and dismisses them. The second they're out the door, our boy saunters into the room and goes, "Hi," flashing a polite little smile. The boss nearly leaps out of his skin. "Who are you?" Karu just stays cool, saying he isn't here to pick a fight. He thrusts a scroll into your hands like it's burning. "Delivery for you, right now." The boss's mind goes totally blank, but then he swallows his confusion and accepts it. He spots the Adventurers Guild seal and his tension finally eases, but then the questions start hitting. How in the world did you end up here? The boss knows nobody slips past that easily. He yells for his guards and they crowd right beside Hikaru to confirm that not a single person passed through. They can't see the kid even standing right there, 2 feet from them, and the boss instantly realizes this kid's on a whole other level. Hikaru keeps his cool and casually tells him, "Go on, sign the form." Beads of sweat pouring down his face, the boss grabs the pen and signs it. And then he whips it back into their hands, right in the nick of time. But just as our hero tries to walk out, boss slams the brakes. "Hold up, wait a minute, who the hell do you think I am?" He knows it, Hikaru isn't just some delivery boy. He finally rips off the mask. Turns out he's the real deal, the Thieves Guild. Shaken by what he just saw, the boss stares down our hero and promises help later, if our hero pays the price. He tells you, "Don't you dare get on the bad side of the Adventurers Guild, because if you do, you can just say the word and they'll handle it." As Hikaru walks out, the boss flashes a grin. This kid's terrifying, but you can bet he's definitely someone worth keeping your eyes on. Back at the guild, dropped in like trouble had just arrived. That sneaky receptionist is just waiting. She shoved him into the Thieves Guild zone on purpose, praying he'd get nabbed so she could rush in like a hero and lock him into owing her. She's stunned when he storms in totally unscathed, like nothing even touched him. Did you manage to meet Kelbeck-san? She asks, and when he says, yeah, but nothing special happened, she's left completely flustered and staring like she can't figure out what just went down. She thrusts the major into their hands and slams down a 200 Jill in reward. Her thoughts spun out of control. How in the world did he pull that off? Right when he's stuck on his next move, an old man from the guild steps up to him. He flips the coin. Good news hits. Redhorn Rabbit Pell sells for a mind-blowing price, about 147,500 gillen. Our boy is frozen in shock, more than 140,000. Just like that, his money woes get wiped out, because the guild bank hands him the lion's share. With his pockets bulging and his confidence flying, he whips around to the old man and says, I need you to answer a couple questions. Our main man is tearing through the woods, mine sprinting a mile a minute. Sure, the rabbit ransom quest was easy, but the only thing that truly matters is digging up any scrap of info on Lavia's transfer. He clenches his fist, flames blazing in his eyes. No messing around. He's here to level up fast and gear up for the rescue of a lifetime, and this forest is officially his personal grinding spot. A few days back, he tracked down the old legend at the guild, Uncansan, and went straight for his wisdom. Our hero, looking like a kid who just asked for a cookie, grills him about any truly nasty monsters hiding nearby. He tells you he's staying put for a while, so he's gotta get some cash first, and that means he's heading straight into the creepy woods. The old man rubs his beard, and you can practically hear his high intuition stat going off non-stop. Then he leans in like he's about to drop top-tier secrets and warns our guy about 4 massive threats he has to steer clear of. He spills the whole nightmare: green wolves, giant bees, forest barbarians, and a massive goblin horde creeping closer to the city with every step. When they hear 300 goblins, our guy's eyes go huge. Then Onkin starts describing the giant bees, massive winged monsters that call in their buddies the second you even think about messing with them, turning what should have been a fight into a straight-up nightmare. Then he spills the truth about the forest barbarian, this 10-foot-tall, four-armed, single-eyed nightmare that stomps around like a living horror show, and our hero's warning is crystal clear: stay far away, no matter what. The old man jerks him away from their Eastern Lake hangout, and our boy bolts before anyone can stop him. And right now he's standing at that exact same Eastern Lake, staring out at the water like a detective, confirming the old man's warning was spot on. Sure, he could go after random creatures, but that's a waste. His real mission is to hunt the deadliest monsters and rack up the biggest experience. He's absolutely not trying to tangle with a swarm of bees or an entire goblin army, so he starts to move, and before he can even finish that thought, a lone green wolf pad slides into view. Perfect, our hero smirks, slams on his stealth skill, and disappears like a ghost, while that wolf has zero clue it's being hunted by eyes in the shadows. He rockets forward in an instant, and with one brutal, lightning-fast chop, it's all over. The wolf screams one last time, pure agony, then drops dead before its body even hits the ground. His assassination skill is so insanely broken that it turns every fight into an instant one-shot, until the adrenaline dies down and a weird, heavy feeling suddenly creeps in. And yeah, he's already shot up the ranks way faster than he ever thought he could. A sick realization hits him. That guilt from killing is slipping away, and somehow he's starting to get used to it. He steadies himself because he knows this isn't just a fight, it's a battle of the heart, and he has to keep control. So he lays down the rules for his new life, sniff out intel, prep like his life depends on it, and when the moment hits, he strikes without hesitation. Then he moves on. He flicks open his status, rank 8, then decides to stash his points for later. All right, time to jump back on that grind and keep pushing. His eyes narrowed to razor slits. He catches a distant sound, and before he can think, he bursts into a scream. Suddenly, everything flips into full-on chaos. An entire party of adventurers is getting hammered and swarmed by a goblin horde that just won't end. They're boxed in from every side, and they're fighting tooth and nail just to stay alive. Among the 3 girls, one Pauline, the healer, freezes completely, trapped in pure terror. Pure terror pins her in place, and her mind shrieks that she never should have stepped onto this quest in the first place. So how the heck did they land in this mess? Flashback to the guild hall, 2 sketchy dudes sized them up and talked them into a fat, pay-for-it-now job near East Lake. The lure of easy money was so tempting he just couldn't say no. And even after Paya warned her, Pauline still got pulled in. She just needed to scrape together enough money to send it straight back to her village. The shady leader just laughed in their faces, brushing off every worry and swearing the danger rumors were way overblown. Bragging like he could take on any monster alone. Paya, the one who always put herself between danger and Pauline, had promised her, no matter what, that she'd keep her safe. But Polly could feel it in her bones. This was the kind of mistake that ruins everything. Now her nightmare has finally crawled into real life. Three girls throw themselves into the fight with everything they've got. Still, it's hopeless. An arrow rips out of the crowd and drops one of the shady adventurers like a sack. This isn't some random mob. This is a full-on, organized goblin army. The scumbag boss starts to crack. He blurts that he thought he was just messing with some green adventurers, but now it's too late. They're all doomed. He whips around to the terrified Pauline, grinning with a chilling smile. Then he leans in and asks, "So, do you know what goblins want?" Offspring, he sneers like that word tastes bitter. He unfurls his vile scheme, and the goblins make it clear. They want the women, not the men. Pauline stood there, totally stunned and completely lost. Then he snatches her up, planning to turn her into raw bait to slam straight into the goblin horde, so he can buy seconds, and with her flying forward, he yells, "You can save us." Her friends scream her name, but the moment slips away. There's no turning back. The man spits out his defense in a burst of rage, screaming that what he did is pure healer work, the kind that saves lives. He slams her to the ground and walks away, leaving her to whatever fate comes for her. Tyra clenches it tight. Goblins creep forward on her helpless body, their eyes burning with pure malice. One of them flashes a nasty, predatory grin that looks downright grotesque. She unleashes one last hopeless scream, like the world just slammed shut. This is it. Every single dream she had of becoming an adventurer is crashing and burning right here. She dreamed of fleeing her village, of a destiny-charged moment where a handsome hero would finally find her in the city. And that's when love hit him like a lightning strike. What a dumb fantasy. She snaps her eyes shut and begs the universe to let her die. But then everything just stops. The goblins freeze in place like they can't even breathe, and a calm voice slices through the silence. That was way too close. A shadow looms over her, sealing off that nightmare view, and he leans in asking, "Are you okay?" Her eyes lock in, and there he is. Our boy finally made it. She freezes, jaw dropped, staring at the sudden rescuer like she can't even breathe. He thrusts his hand toward you. "Can you stand up?" This is the moment. The fated encounter is here, and the real hero has finally arrived. He calmly orders the still-dazed Paula to fall back. But she's totally starstruck. She freezes for half a second, then suddenly launches herself at him, thanking him again and again. Meanwhile, that scumbag who threw her to the wolves is screaming in rage. Sacrificing her was the only way out, he insists. Our hero's eyes narrow, and then he murmurs, calm as ever, "Ah, I get it now. So you're using her as a decoy and trying to bolt." He snaps, then effortlessly shoves the stubborn pole away and strides straight up to the coward who can only stammer back. Right when Pai is about to unleash her fury, our hero jabs a finger toward the forest. Then a horn blasts, and he snaps that they'll be retreating soon. Right on cue, the entire goblin horde freezes in confusion, and then they bolt, scattering in panic. The shady adventurers freeze in terror. "So get out of there now," our main man tells you before it's too late. And the moment they hear it, they don't hesitate. They bolt like a shot, 0 second thoughts. With the danger gone for good, he rushes to Paula. Her face is burning red, but she waves him off and insists she's okay because she can heal herself. Pai is seething that the coward slipped away, but our hero steps in and tells her not to worry. He tells them their reputation is basically dead. Once word leaks that they're using their own party as decoys, nobody will ever trust them again. The only way out, shut the witnesses up permanently. He drops the truth that he's been tracking their other two buddies, the ones who fall for anything. Then he tells the girls to keep moving without him. Paula isn't taking any of that. She introduces herself the right way and flat out begs him to escort them to the lake. His friends jump in one after another, and at last he caves, agreeing to keep an eye on them from a safe distance. Paula's expression drops, and you can tell she's crushed that he's not going to walk by her side. Paya's friend immediately trolls her, calling out her secret habit of writing delusional novels, and Paula totally flips out, spiraling into the cutest, most embarrassing meltdown ever. As he strides on, our hero digs into his memories. He only knows how to force the goblins to retreat because he studied them for real in a dusty old archive book. They say work turns knowledge into power, but just as that hits, another sound slams into his thoughts. He snaps his gaze upward, and there the girls are, ringed by yet another goblin swarm. His stealth is lethal in a 1v1, but against a whole horde like this, it's completely useless. His eyes slice through the chaos, searching like a hunter, then they lock on him, the goblin boss. Bingo blasts the boss, and the entire command structure collapses like it's nothing. Then he quickly pumps up his strength with a hard point. He disappears on a blink, slips through the goblins without a single soul noticing, and rockets onto the boss's back, then drives his dagger straight into its skull. The strike comes in savage and flawless, and the boss gets obliterated on the spot. And then he crumpled into a heap as the nearby goblins stared, completely stunned and lost. The system hands him a reward on the spot, 1 kill, and he rockets up 3 ranks. That power surge hits like a lightning blast, and he's left gasping for a moment. Like he saw coming, the leaderless horde snaps into panic and breaks apart, scattering everywhere. But one goblin snaps into a last-ditch dash, charging straight at Paula. No time to wonder, so he taps his screen and slams a point into explosiveness. He blurs into motion, so fast he might as well teleport. Then he drives his blade into the goblin, slicing just inches from where it was about to strike. One more life rescued, one more monster crushed. At last, they slam into the safety of the lake, breathing out like they just escaped disaster. The girls thank him for everything, and he tells them, "Stay sharp, be careful." They wave goodbye as he whips around and sprints back into the forest to finish his hunt. By the time night falls, he's leveled up so hard it's like he skipped a whole chapter. He even stormed into that monstrous forest barbarian they warned him about and absolutely crushed him. He checks his status and grins. 10 points in the bank is more than enough for now. He barrels toward the guild, dead set on digging up every scrap of info on Lavia's transfer convoy. He leans in for a quick look, and his eyes collide with Lavia's. But this isn't just a warm hello. Those 3 girls he saved are right there too, ready to expose how their old party members betrayed them. Lavia grabs his attention and demands he testify about the goblin horde. Before he can even think, she yanks his cloak, smiling like an adorable menace, jealousy blazing under a mask. "After what you pulled the other day, and now you're fooling around with other girls, what's your deal?" she demands. Our boy, totally stunned, nods and promises, right over dinner, he'll spill everything. Lavia drags the whole crew to a legendary pasta spot that everyone in town can't stop talking about. The girls he saved stare in disbelief, blown away by just how insanely expensive everything is. Our hero's huge attitude bugged everyone. He didn't have time for this, but Lavia knew the girls would trail after him no matter what, so she slammed everything together and forced the chaos to line up. Right then, Unkinson bursts in, alongside the restaurant owner. The owner clocks our hero as a rabbit hunter and offers to buy the guts everyone else tosses aside, right from him, so he skips the guild trip and walks away with extra cash. A win-win. Then the owner slaps on a grin and says he's Hikaru, until our poor guy is forced to blurt out, "My name is Hikaru," and the whole moment turns hilariously awkward. The owner adores his attitude and straight up declares that the whole meal is completely on the house. The girls burst into pure joy at the thought of getting free food. Overwhelmed by his generosity and sheer heroism, Hala blurts out that she'll be his 9-night slave, sending the whole table into stunned, mortified silence. Over a mouth-watering plate of pasta, they dug in. Our hero lays out his game plan, because in some dusty old encyclopedia, he read that goblin hordes run on strict chain of command, so all he has to do is take out the boss and the whole army crumbles. Lavia couldn't believe it, so he devoured the entire thing, word for word. The girls sink into a heavy depression, realizing they were way out of their depth. Paya blurts out, "How on earth can we ever repay you?" And then, she follows it up with a very, very personal thank you. Paula blurts a huge yes with zero hesitation, while Avia panics and scrambles to slam the brakes on the entire conversation. Our hero brushes it off, but before he lets it go, he slips in one last request. He leans in and begs Livia to bury the entire incident, especially the part about those traitorous adventurers, so he can keep everything under the radar. Paolo is gearing up to protest when he cuts in, saying he's got one more question for Lavia. Did the adventurers for the capital escort convoy already roll into town? He asks, then Lavia's jaw drops and her shocked face answers everything. She's blown away by just how razor-sharp his mind is. He confirms the rumors. Tonight, a 4-woman B-rank party is set to roll in. Everyone's jaw drops because in Pondo, being B-rank isn't good, it's a massive deal. Lavia locks eyes with him, her voice turning deadly serious as she tells him their name, the 4 stars of the East End. And somehow they pull off a 100% mission completion rate. Then our heroes lock eyes with the truth. Hardin is coming, and he's about to clash with a flawless opponent. Our unsuspecting hero gets the full rundown. Levia is getting transferred right now, guarded by rank B adventurers. And then the intel gets wild. Turns out a legendary crew of 4, the 4 stars of the East, is running the whole convoy. With the plan on a knife's edge, he decides he has to see these legends with his own eyes. Elsewhere, the guild master and his submaster burst into cackles over something, totally unfazed by the high-stakes mission. Just as they're swapping whispers, a sketchy-looking stranger slides in and demands to know who they've been talking about. The man and his two sketchy cronies stumble out of the shadows and puff up like they own the night, and then they brag, "We're the distant glittering stars," with all the confidence of a wet paper bag. From up in the shadows, our hero watches in pure disbelief. He's just a rank C, but even he can see these guys are straight up pathetic. This isn't the 4 stars of the East. Nah, this is just 3 clowns pulling strings. That's not the info I got at all, he mutters under his breath, eyes sharpening like he spotted something terrifyingly wrong. He fires up his skills, and his eyes snap straight onto the crew's leader. A quick glance says it all, his stats are trash. Sure, he's got life detection, but it's so flimsy our boy's stealth just fully shuts it down. One look at the other two and his suspicions snap into place. These guys are straight up bargain bin adventurers, and he can't stop himself from watching this total chaos explode. Leader Nabuza is already getting way too cocky, bragging that they only need 3 people to pull this job off. Bandits don't start stuff like that, he sneers, and this fearless, totally unearned confidence hits like an epic punchline. Then he steps straight into the guild master's space, eyes blazing, and demands respect. Because we're not replacements, we're about to prove we're even better than them. The guildmaster broke into a cold sweat, stammered out an agreement, and practically shoved the keys to the city into their hands. The submaster tries to muscle in, firing off questions about why they have to waste the whole night before a mission that starts in the afternoon. But the goon squad just waves him off, strutting out the door like they paid for the whole damn place. That old man fumed about how the Capital's guild has crumbled, calling it insane that they've been shoving up the ranks so wildly they even invented a brand new one, the Master Swordsman. Turns out that title belongs to none other than the legendary captain of the Royal Knights, Lawrence Dono. Our main man's had it, he's done playing around, and this ridiculous crew is his one shot at glory. A wicked grin snaps onto his face. Luck's got me, he thinks, then he rockets into the night. The guards are barely standing and the whole plan is doomed, so hear me out. Tomorrow is the day, and tomorrow he saves Levia. While Lavia is locked up at the estate, 2 guards keep watch through the night. One's on edge, not buying that she's the killer, because the official investigator still hasn't even arrived yet. Our beloved captain told us to just follow orders, and his partner shot back a reminder, yet that doubt still clings in the air. Inside, the submaster watches the transfer go down. He tells them Lavia's handcuffs aren't ordinary, they're magical, and they pop open on their own once the countdown hits. They'll hold up till tonight, just tonight, and then he bows to the night, says his goodbye, and slips out. Lavia is shoved into the blinding sun, her face wearing pure, icy indifference like armor. A wild gust of wind whips through the air, and it throws her off balance in an instant. She sways on the edge of collapse, and just before the night can swallow her, his worried face tightens with urgency. As they close in on the carriage, the knight spots the elite adventure squad waiting there, and his face twists into a storm. What's going on here? He snaps at the guild master and spits out, "These aren't the adventurers we asked for." The guild master just shrugs it off like, yeah, knight, zip it and get back to work. Our boy stands on the sidelines, glued to every word and move as the whole exchange unfolds before his eyes. Nabuza, the lead adventurer, lets out this bone-chilling laugh and leers right at Levia, "So you're a real cutie, huh?" And the knight's patience just snaps, "Seriously, are you guys drunk?" Nabuza just smirks back like he's daring the world, and the knight clenches his teeth, growling that he can't escort her in this state. He whips his gaze to Lavia and tries to calm her down, promising her they're almost there. He grabs her and hauls her into the prison carriage. The other knights are seething, no way they can escort anyone because they were stuck as witnesses at the mansion, so why did the guild send asterisk them? They're down bodies, so they've got no choice but to push on. And just when it couldn't get worse, Nabuza whistles at Lavia while they lock her up. Like that's not enough, he throws one last savage insult in her face. The night's done, he stomps straight up to the coachman, the only guy clutching the key. "Coachman, get over here right now." He steps right into the poor guy's space and growls a warning. If anything goes wrong, it's his head on the line. Then he hauls the guy hard toward the carriage. "Now get the hell out of here." The carriage rumbles off into the dark and the knight hangs there, seething with raw frustration. Just then a voice cuts through the air and shouts his name. It's the captain of the knights himself, Lawrence. He snaps that the king sent him here to keep watch and supervise everything. Knight Asudo drops to a plea and begs him to stick with the convoy, swearing the adventurers can't be trusted, but the captain digs in, no matter what, because rules come first, and he's forced to follow protocol and sit tight until the investigator arrives. The convoy is already tearing down the road, and it's full speed ahead. Right after they clear the checkpoint, the coachman's gut starts screaming something's terribly wrong. The carriage suddenly feels way heavier than it did a moment ago. He shakes his head like, no way, because as they roll over that bridge, it feels like his eyes are playing tricks on him. On the endless open road, boredom starts to claw at Nabuza. He rockets up alongside the driver, pulling right level beside him. "Driver, hand me the key," he's demanding. The terrified driver freezes for a split second, but Nabuza flashes his rank C like it's power, and the old man immediately realizes he's got no choice. This whole mission is nothing but a payday for these clowns. But before he can snatch the key, his companion yells, "Nagusa, look ahead." A cloaked figure looms over a lifeless body sprawled in the road, and with trembling urgency, they beg for water. It's our boy pulling off a disguise so masterful it's almost unreal. One of the goons hurls a water skin at him like it's a joke. Nabuza snarls at him to scram, but our hero just flashes a small bag of coins as a thank you. Nabuza's greed detonates inside him. He swells his chest, grabs the traveler's attention, and demands he shout his name everywhere. Nabuza gag ego, the hero R. Our boy just nods, got it. A little later, Nabuza is yawning, utterly bored, like his soul's begging for something, anything. And that's it, he's done. He whips his head back to the carriage. "Hey, driver, hit the brakes. We're taking a break right now, and the carriage needs to stop." He swings and smacks the old man, snatches the key, then flashes a wicked grin. "I'll make sure the lady gets some company," and yanks the door open, his vile intentions screaming loud and clear. He dives in, snatches the blanket, and tucks it over the sleeping figure. With a savage grin, he rips it right out of their grasp. And his eyes suddenly bulge wide, like something just hit him full force. The bed is totally empty. Nabuza is losing his mind, the woman they were escorting is gone, his crew is screaming in panic, and the prisoner has completely vanished. A few hours earlier, right inside that same carriage, Levia's hopes started to fall apart. Our hero promised he'd rescue her, but he never showed up, just a quick flicker of hope that vanished the second it mattered. Not a single soul would dare challenge the king just to save her. She lets out a heavy sigh, and like a flashback punching through the air, that old childhood saying comes rushing back. Happiness slips away with every single breath. "Whoa, don't you dare raise your voice." Levi jerks in a gasp because right now, our main man is right there inside the carriage with her. He snaps his finger to her lips, shushing her hard before she can even scream. Her shock just detonates into raw, unstoppable happiness. He's here, and he actually came for her like a miracle, like her personal savior. He blurts out his insanely epic plan, clocks the timed handcuffs, watches her get shoved into the carriage, and realizes the driver, S holding the only key, stayed planted and waited for them to clear out of the city. He leaped onto the roof the second the guard's attention slipped, snatched the key from the driver's hand, and used a passing merchant as a perfect disguise to slip inside, flawless. Now the big moment hits. He slaps a cloak into her hands and tells her to take that blanket and turn it into a dummy. First, he's got to scan her soul board and hunt down that stealth skill. Then he drops his ultimate secret. Turns out he's not like normal people, because his skills don't level up on their own. He can spot and control the floorboards under anyone within 5 meters, like he owns the ground beneath them. So yeah, he can straight up mess with other people's stats like it's nothing. He triggers his ability, boom, her stats light up on the screen. She may not be able to sneak, but her magical thinking is so sharp it feels impossible. Then his stomach drops, her last shred of identity, the family name Morgstead, has been ripped clean away, and she's been cast out for good. No time to sit and think, he slams his points into a brand new skill, and then dives straight into group blocking. It lets him pour his stealth skills into anyone he grabs. He shoves it to the limit, whipping up a shared field of invisibility. It's not flawless, but it's the only shot they've got. He maps out their escape plan, and then, no hesitation, he's like, "We jump out together." "Don't let go of my hand," he says, and his serious voice hits like a promise. Blushing hard, she grabs his hand, gives a quick nod, and whispers, "Okay." Right then, one of the adventurers came blazing up and pulled up at the door. The carriage grinds to a halt. This is it, I can feel it. They tumble out of the carriage, fingers locked, and stroll straight past the guards like they're invisible. None of them even flinch. Lavia's mind is completely blown, like her brain just short-circuited from shock. Completely invisible. They step off the road without a sound, slip into the towering grass, and vanish like they were never there. When they're finally safe, he leans in and lays out the plan. Slip into Pondo, the nearby town, and vanish in plain sight with the caravan. He's convinced whoever framed her had to be a noble, right? And Pondo answers straight to the royal family's direct control. Not a single sane noble would dare shelter a fugitive right under the king's own eyes. Suddenly, he yanks her down into the grass. "What is it?" she whispers, then he snaps a finger to his lips, shutting her up as he listens, totally locked in. Hoofbeats thunder close, fast, pounding, then he grits his teeth, face set in grim determination. A lone knight is tearing across the road at full speed, racing straight for the convoy. This guy S built different, he's towering over everyone, and you can tell he's way stronger, and yeah, that's seriously bad news. If that knight rolls in and the carriage shows up to find her vanished, the whole area will explode with search parties swarming every corner. They've got to rush back to Pondo right now. If they don't, he'll miss his chance to set up an alibi. If he's not in town when the news hits, they'll snap his name right onto the suspect list. "Stay put, Lavia, don't you dare move," he snapped, and then he promised to slow that whole night down. He yanks on his mask and pure determination clenches like steel. Then he shoves his last skill points into armed proficiency and cranks throwing skill up to level 2. He snatches up a rock. "Hold up, calm down, I've got this." That night could only mean one thing: Captain Lawrence showed up. He was on edge about the shady adventurers, so he ditched the sidelines and rode with the convoy himself. But as he gallops down the road, a rock, moving at an impossible speed, slams into his horse's head. The horse gets obliterated, but Lawrence drops onto his feet like a cat, untouched, unhurt, and standing like nothing happened. He rips his sword free, and his voice rolls like thunder across the field. "I'm Lawrence D. Falcon of the Honorable Order of Knights, and you'd better be ready to die." Our boy is frozen in shock. He's staring straight at the legendary master swordsman himself. Every bit of intel he had was a lie. Now he has to get eyes on this guy's soul board, and he needs to do it fast. Lawrence unleashes a menacing presence so intense it hits like a weight, so strong the air itself starts to tremble. Our hero flinches because that power hits like a tidal wave. He can't sprint, he has to push closer right now. He slinks through the grass, inching forward 8 meters, 6. 1 more, 2 more steps. Lawrence whips his head toward me with a terrifying glare. He'd found me. "Are you there, coward Lawrence ROARS?" But our hero finally realizes the knight can't actually see him. His stealth is working, and it's working hard. He pushes close, spots the soulboard, and his blood turns to ice. The stats are straight up monstrous. Muscle mass 16, greatsword 6, and a heavenly sword. This guy is an absolute unit. If he hadn't slammed into him in time, it would have been game over. Now he's got to win this fight, using nothing but a tiny pebble. Lawrence snaps his finger straight at him. "It's you, isn't it?" Then he jabs toward Lavia's hiding spot a full 50 meters away. "So, is Lavia with you?" How is that even fair? His intuition skill is basically a cheat code. Our boy panics, then bites down on another stone with all the strength he's got. Lawrence just smirks, then flicks his wrist and cleanly splits the little rock in two. Right before our hero even gets a chance to breathe, a fresh enemy pops up beside him, one of the convoy's shady crews, and that's when everything goes to the end. The adventurers' attack slams into the ground, blasting up a massive explosion of dirt and grass. But once the dust finally clears, Lawrence just stares on, completely baffled. I ducked at the last second and the punch still whizzed past me. Just a few feet away, our hero stumbles with blood pouring from his arm, so close it's terrifying. I'd be dead if I hadn't used my explosiveness. He glares at the captain, breathing hard. "You monster." Cornered, bleeding, and outmatched by 2 enemies who are way above his level, what chance does he even have? Our boy gets shoved into a corner and has to stare Lawrence, the monster, dead in the eyes. That last attack still flashes in his head. If his explosiveness and skill hadn't been razor fast, he'd be dead right now. He can't stop thinking, "Shit, what now?" because this guy is an absolute monster. He clutches his bleeding arm as pain rips through him, and he hisses, "Calm down, me," trying to shake his head back into the fight. First things first, he's got to bury the evidence, so he tears a strip from his cloak and with a grimace, bites down and tightens that ragged bandage himself. He pieces the whole battlefield together in his head. Lawrence is out on the road, and that meadow is his only hiding spot. His move is clear: cross the road, stay far back, but he knows that's a flimsy half-plan. So what hits him next? Lawrence is straight up built different. He can slice a pebble out of the air like it's nothing at all. Our main man is totally thrown off. Meanwhile, Lawrence is ruthless as hell, and going toe-to-toe would be suicide. He racks his brain. How the heck did Lawrence even spot that pebble? There's no way he knew where it was hidden. Then the horrifying truth slams into place. He didn't just *C* the pebble, it scooted away from him. His stealth only works for so long, then the second his thrown pebble popped that bubble of concealment, Lawrence caught the change in the wind and snapped into action on raw, unfiltered instinct. What a savage. Realizing he's up against someone with superhuman senses, he figures there's only one way out, one brutal gamble, and just like that, the grass wraps around him. It's Lavia. He yanks her close, his voice a brutal whisper. So tell me, why did you come? Her face turns chalk white with terror as she blurts, "Run, Hikaru, please. We don't have to go back to that town. Just let's get out now." Her voice shakes hard and she fights the panic in her eyes. That man, it's way too risky. That's when she spots it, his arms gleaming with fresh blood. She gasps, but he snaps her words out of the air. "Listen," and his voice is all panic. "The bleeding won't stop." He lays out the brutal truth, then drags her back to town because staying means dying. Lawrence will realize she's vanished and the guards will come hunting hard, and without getting treated, he can't move a step without waving a whole forest of red flags. He leaves her behind, in a forest crawling with monsters, with him out cold. No way. His eyes snap into a steely focus. This is way too dangerous. He catches the panic choking her eyes, but he also sees that iron determination. She's forcing herself to stay strong for him. He slips his hand into hers, tight, unshakable, and he finally commits to the move he's been waiting to make. "I'm not turning back unless you're coming with me," he declares, voice booming with pure conviction. Then he grins, and we stick to the plan and bring Lawrence down. He stares her straight in the eyes, right through her, like me and you both. She froze in shock, and the words slipped out of "Me too, me too." He doesn't mince words either way. It's deathly dangerous, but he'd rather gamble, strike for the future, and risk failing than just back off and wait for the end. "Will you help me?" he asks, and she doesn't even blink. Her eyes flare with fiery resolve. "I will. After everything you've done for me, putting myself on the line means nothing." Meanwhile, Lawrence prowls along the field's edge, every sense screaming at him to be ready. He knows they're lurking in the shadows. Sure, you can hide, but you can't outrun this. He growls like a warning, and make no mistake, these aren't just some ordinary thugs. He follows their trail, but every sign screams a different story. Those footprints look clumsy and amateur, yet the way they disappear, that's straight up pro level. He scans the road like a hawk. He swears they crossed, but he didn't catch a single trace, so that can only mean they're still stuck out there in the grass. He spots a tiny flicker in the shadows, but swats it off like it's nothing, just some animal passing by. What really grinds his gears is this: his attacker hasn't gone for round 2 yet. He lets out a defeated sigh. Of course they slip through again, and he vows he's done wasting a second on them. He nonchalantly yeets a pebble, and it pings off his dead horse's head like it's the most disrespectful thing he could have done. But then he freezes like someone just yanked the world out from under him. A terrifying, menacing pressure suddenly blasts through the air from behind him. He whips around, eyes blazing. He gawked as a ridiculously massive magic circle erupted on the ground, crackling with power, pure top-tier spellwork that would have even a royal wizard wiping his forehead. He spots 2 hands jutting up from the grass, and he rockets forward, ready to smash them to pieces before the spell even gets a chance to fire. But it's a trap. His sword chops through a decoy, and right when he thinks he's won, our boy erupts from the shadows with a blade clamped to his throat. A flawless counter. Lawrence jolts with a cold shiver, finally clocking the troll job that just got played on him. He's totally lost, like his brain just hit a dead end. "Why, you are main man s telling you coolly, and if you don't want to bleed out, don't move." With a savage slash across Lawrence's neck, he turns to walk away. "Sure, a normal person would have dropped, but I know you'll live." Lawrence clutches his throat and snarls, "Who are you?" My hero whips his head over his shoulder, and a shady grin spreads across his face. "I'm Silver Face." Lawrence drops to his knees the second the mysterious figure strides away. Silver Face, the name rings in his head like a curse. A jolt of icy terror hits him. He'd been spared somehow, because if that spell had landed, he would have been vaporized in an instant, and rage boils in his veins. Later, our dude finally slips safely into a merchant's wagon, and the whole ride rocks as they rumble through the town gate. They made it finally safe, crashing down against the cargo and catching their breath. Lovia spots his wound and asks about it. He grins and tells her, "I'm good now." Turns out those merchants had healing potions, magic juice that slammed the bleeding shut and knit the muscle back together. It'll take a few hours to fully heal, but honestly, this is like modern magic, and it's a miracle. Right then, clank asterisk, the magic locking Lavia's cuff snaps and they crash to the floor. Looks like the tide finally flipped for them. They hunt down an inn for the night and crash there before the world can catch them. Our boy tells Levia he needs to step out for a moment to handle a few loose ends, so she can just lay back and rest. His final stop, the Adventurers Guild. He barrels straight into the friendly receptionist, exactly like he planned, because this is how he's building a rock-solid alibi. She clocks the pale look on his face, and he brushes it off like it was just a rough night. After checking and finding not a single decent quest for him, he thanks her with a nod and bolts out the door. Feeling untouchable, he thought every trace was wiped clean. He crashes back into their room with a thunderous slam, and Levia jolts, then topples right over. "Whoa, sorry," he blurts, hauling her back to her feet, then rushes to say he was just wrapping up something important. She finally locks eyes with him, and curiosity snaps the leash right off. "Levia," he blurts it out, and she's suddenly blushing hard, and yeah, I'm totally curious. Yeah, she goes, "Wait, if you're invisible, do you still make noise?" And he grins like, "I'll try my best to keep my voice low." Then in a move that even shocks him, he steps in close and kisses her. He jerks back, stunned by how far he dared to go. Then Levia just sits up and stares at him with those clear, honest eyes like, "I told you, I'll give you everything if you'll save me." "Aren't you scared of me?" he blurts, still shaken. Then he admits it. He's no decent man, and he's done real, awful things. She locks eyes with him, staring like she's about to uncover every secret he's hiding. "Didn't I swear I'd give you my everything if you saved me? Don't you remember that?" After his smile dies, the reality crashes down on him. He does. "I won't back down," she declares, voice steady as stone, "whether you're a heartless killer, a rotting undead, or some monster wearing a human face." The realization slams into him like a tidal wave. She wasn't just speaking, she was telling the truth. She took him in, every single piece of him. He'd been terrified for so long, sure his powers would swallow him whole and rip his life apart, but then Levia showed up, and she didn't fear him at all. She could accept him. The air in the room snaps to tension. "So you're really gonna hand me all of you?" he demands. She closes the distance, cheeks burning hard. "And yeah, I heard that line the first time, it stings. I'll keep quiet, I swear." Her only request, "Please hold my hand the whole time." Just like that, she gave him everything, then loved him right there for exactly who he is. His eyes soften like a storm finally letting up. Now he's convinced it's finally his turn to take the stage. A brand new morning breaks over the local adventurers guild, and the whole place feels like it's about to explode with trouble. And the morning has already kicked off. But the sweet talk snaps to silence when Freya tells Aurora that Lunkinson, the big boss, wants to speak right now. The story slams into a bleak, grim office. Lunkin, looking like he's survived 1,000 years, drops a bombshell. The escort mission meant to protect the party's shining star ended in disaster. Aurora freezes on the spot, and the worst hits her first. Was this a bandit ambush or some mutated monster smashing in? But Lunkin just shakes his head, because this is way weirder than that. The adventurers and their guild swear the young lady they were guarding just vanished without a trace. One minute she's trapped in the carriage, the next instant, poof, she vanishes like a ghost. Lunkin is yanking at his own beard from pure stress. This whole mess stinks, and he claims there are two huge reasons this story reeks of gaps and loose ends. First, the caregiver swore the adventurers' Nagusa crew demanded the carriage keys. Aurora snapped and called them idiots on the spot, and suddenly the whole thing feels wildly shady. The second problem hit hard when the knight meant to ride with the escort never showed, because he supposedly got ambushed by bandits. And get this wasn't some random guard at all. It was the knight commander himself, Lawrence de Falcon, the one and only sword saint. Aurora can't believe what she's hearing. One sword saint, and he's getting stopped by a bunch of run-of-the-mill bandits. Then Lunkin drops the final, absurd detail. The one who attacked him was a kid calling himself Silver Face. The room explodes with non-stop, unhinged screams all at once. A kid beat the sword saint. That's not just unlikely. That's a straight-up impossibility that breaks the laws of physics and common sense. Aurora tries to force the pieces together, guessing this kid might be born for it, some once-in-a-generation combat prodigy with natural, unstoppable talent. But Lunkin's got nothing else to give, so they're stuck with two wild, totally disconnected chaos fests. Clutching his desk for dear life, Lunkin leans toward Freya and fires off a question. Are there any top-tier adventurers around here? Aurora zeroes in and demands to know if any skilled men from Dayang are around, and Lunkin blanks at first, then remembers one key detail. Hikaru was studying the day before everything went down, and yeah, that feels way too coincidental. With 0 leads left, Lunkin takes a shot and goes straight to Gloria. Sure, he's not expecting much. Meanwhile, our main man is showing Levia the whole town, and she's eating it up, absolutely loving every second. Her cheeks burn with pure, unfiltered joy. He points out the weapon and armor shops, the real backbone of any adventure town worth its salt. He's already daydreaming about their future, praying that once this whole mess finally blows over, he'll get her back to this place. Then he jabs a finger at the map and orders them straight to the Adventurers Guild. The second she lays eyes on it, Lavia locks up head to toe, shaking like she can't even breathe. This place, this symbol of freedom and adventure, is a dream she never dared to hope for, and the feelings hit so hard she collapses into unstoppable sobs of pure, joyful happiness. Hikaru's left staring in total shock at Lavia's sudden burst of tears, but a cheeky comment snaps her back. her eyes blazing with pure excitement as she's ready to rush inside. She's bouncing off the walls like she can't even sit still. But our hopeless hero yanks the ultimate troll move, telling her they'll try again tomorrow, and her smile drops so hard it looks like it could crack the pavement. Lucky for him, the mouth-watering smell spilling out of the nearby bakery hit at just the right time, saving the whole awkward mess. After he snatched a quick bite to eat, Hikaru finally drops his real plan for the afternoon. Then he grabs everyone and they're heading out of town. Time to gear up for the adventure. She's about to put her absurdly powerful magic to the test, and Lovia's excitement snaps back to full blast the second she steps in. They stride out into the open fields, and the town fades behind them. He reassures her the whole area is safe, so long as they avoid the mountains. The sight hits like a punch. An endless sea of grassland sprawls out in front of them, stretching as far as the eye can see. So massive that a horse would need a whole day just to cross it. Right before the magic show kicks off, Hikaru grabs the stage and asks to see her soul card, explaining how their ID cards basically unlock a whole fantasy world. He glances at her and instantly realizes something's off. Her family name has vanished, and it only says Lavia. She locks eyes with him, her voice low but unbreakable, because I'm free now. And when those words land, the whole moment hits like an absolute knockout. He dodges her question and slips past the truth about the blessing on his own card. Instead, all I could think about was her. She flashes her back to him, and boom, it's a brand new novel, complete with a ridiculous list of skills and stats that's off the charts. He locks onto a single one straight on target, using that magic principle, but she has zero clue what it is. Then her magic just suddenly ignites out of nowhere. So he grabs her attention and tells her, "Show me." She kicks off her lesson on spirit magic, right down to the elements that. Then he spits out the incantation, "Answer my call, spirits, by the primordial flames burn them to ash." She hurls a blazing fireball from her hands, and it detonates on the ground, obliterating everything in a violent burst of pure power. Hikaru is left totally speechless because that brutal show of power, it's just fire breath, the simplest fire spell anyone can cast. He flicks through a quick mental tally. A Cyrenk adventurer sitting at 4 sword points, the guildmasters at 6, and Livia's stockpiled 5 points in fire. She's a walking nuke. She stares at him, panic shaking through her eyes. "Aren't you scared of me?" And he doesn't even blink. No, that single word hits her like a wave of relief. She blurts out the truth. She was scared to death he'd dump her the second he saw her real power. He yanks her close and admits it. When he told her about his powers, he felt the exact same way, like none of this was even meant for humans. In that exact moment, their bond snaps into something way deeper. He swears he'll never, ever walk away from her. Realizing that light show was probably drawing attention like a spotlight. They bolt out, no questions asked, making it a straight-up quick escape. As they stroll, he leans in and asks how many she can unload. She shrugs like it's nothing. "About 30, yeah, 30 times. Inspired, our boy decides to jump in, copying her chant word for word like it's the only key that can open the next door. Nothing, no sound at all, just dead, crushing silence. Lovia tells them it hit different for her. Her magic didn't arrive neatly at all. The very first time it awakened was pure accident. In a flashback, a terrified little Lovia can barely breathe as a horse rears up and viciously bucks in front of her. Her fear detonates a colossal surge of magic, raw, wild, and totally out of control. And just like that, it floors the horse and knocks both adults out cold in an instant. Her shady father finally gets the bombshell news. A sinister grin cracks across his face as he summons his daughter. Then things spiral into pure horror. He starts playing games with her, pushing her to fight the monsters he's hauled into the mansion himself. The experiments finally confirm it. Her fire magic is ridiculously powerful, because 1 second later she turns a training dummy into pure ash. Her father is over the moon, not because he's proud, but because he finally found a job for her. From that day forward, she was trapped, cut off from the world, locked inside the mansion, and never allowed to step beyond its gates. Back in the present, she grabs Hikaru's attention and spills the brutal truth. Her father and the king were plotting to turn her into a living weapon for the war about to explode. Hikaru's face contorts with fury. That's so cruel. But Lavia stands her ground, sharp and unshaken, like the past is already behind her. He thanks her, gripping the weight of it, for trusting him with her painful story. That scholar part of him snaps back to life, and he starts tearing into her magic piece by piece. She leans in and tells him her fire breath isn't just strong, it's downright lethal. She can't change how much energy it burns. She can only decide where it shows up and where it rockets off to. He figures it out. Those 5 points in fire are the secret sauce, turning her fireballs monstrous compared to everyone else's. Then he leans in and asks, can you change its shape or compress it? And she freezes because those ideas have never even crossed her mind. They call it for later because they can't afford another massive explosion right now. She smirks at him and taunts him as nothing but a scholar. And he fires off another question, was she always this powerful? She shakes her head hard and you realize it. Her magic keeps getting stronger over time, even when she never practices. Hikaru clicks everything into place. Then the moment her soul rank shoots up, the system instantly hands her fresh points for her fire and magical power stats. She straight up swears she never pulled anything special to make it happen. It's that wild moment when pure, born with it talent kicks in like a lightning strike. Lovia grins and teases the professor, asking if he's finally cracked the answer. But he just smiles, and that grin turns the whole mystery into something way darker. They burst into a real laugh, and for one blessed moment, the weight of everything that happened before finally lifts. As they head home, fingers laced tight, our main guy swallows the silence and vows to build a happy life for both of them. Then the tale whips straight to the tiny village of Manhwa, where workers are out in the fields, ripping tomatoes from the vines. A local pastor welcomed them with open arms and a big, genuine smile, shooting off compliments for their legendary dried tomatoes. He still can't forget that girl, Paula. She was a total pro at peeling them, and the memory just sticks. One of the workers blurts out an apology for whatever just went wrong. The pastor glances aside with a sorrowful smile, then nods and says that kid really knocked it out of the park. His friend snapped him with a subtle elbow, cutting him off before he could dig into that sore subject. The pastor throws his hands together in applause, then wraps it up for good. Suddenly, the ground starts to rattle so hard it feels like it might split open. It's not an earthquake. One of the men feels that icy dread crawl straight into his bones. The sky above those jagged mountains darkens in a blink, heavy and cruel, like the world knows something deadly is about to crash in. Back in town, our hero is hustling monster parts at a shop, showing off his stash like it's the hottest deal around. Redhorn rabbit guts straight up, no way to dodge it. The shopkeeper's so hyped he slams a massive hand on Hikaru's back, and it nearly rockets him off his feet. Then he starts bouncing around the room like a total maniac. Our guy just stands there, completely flabbergasted. As the sun dips below the horizon, he reels back through the day, pushing Levia's magic to the limit, and coming away with a monster bagged. Levia's safe in the hotel, but he can't waste a second. He has to boost her rank fast to unlock that stealth ability. He barrels back into the loud, bustling adventurers' guild. I spot Freya and Gloria standing at the counter, just waiting for what comes next. He strides up to Gloria, ready to cash in and get paid for the hunt. She shoves a heavy pouch of 9,000 jilin into his hands, grinning like, rank up fast, this won't take long. Then her smile snaps away, cold as steel. She freezes you with, where were you the day before yesterday? The question slams into him like a punch. Before he can even stammer a lie, Freya barges in with a bright grin and calmly saves him by saying, yep, you studied all day. He juked a massive bullet at the last second, but now the truth hits hard. Gloria suspects everything. Free talks him into chilling together for a while before the guild finally shuts its doors. But Gloria isn't finished. She leans in close, drops her voice and presses him. Is that civilian blessing really the only one on his card? She's hunting the truth, and she's getting dangerously close. Our boy yanks a hard no and bolts, rejecting the drinks and slipping out before anyone can even blink. He steps outside and hooks up with Freya, and she blurts out that Lunken called her about the Count Morgstead case. The official tale claims the Knight Commander was just lightly hurt by some young bandit, but it conveniently wipes out the part where a kid absolutely obliterated him. The soldier lived barely, like one breath from disaster. They both clock the same thing. On the surface, these two incidents look like they have nothing to do with each other. But then Hikaru clocks it. Gloria isn't just grilling him. She already knew all of this. The guild isn't stepping in anymore. This is a national emergency now. As they split up, Freya jabs a finger at her place. Yep, the same bakery they saw earlier. He tells her he already tried their bread and it blew him away, and the moment she hears it, her face floods red. Then she blurts out, way too fast, that he should come to dinner. She instantly panics, blurts, never mind, and sprints down the street, totally leaving Hikaru utterly baffled in her wake. For now, he dials it back, stays hidden, and puts every ounce of his energy into protecting Livia. The very next day, they meet up at the guild. 3 fresh-faced adventurers are ripping into each other, trying to forge a brand new party. Yet with them being 3 low-rank women, nobody will so much as blink at them, and it's driving them crazy. One of them clocked our hero. The second, the doors blew open. A beaten, bleeding man staggers through the door, then crumples hard onto the floor. It's Pippin, a guy from right here in their village. He shoves their worry aside and his voice cracks with raw panic because monsters are flooding out of the dungeon. With his final shred of strength, he roars, "Our village is in danger." Pippin gets dragged right in front of Lunkin, reliving the massive earthquake that tore through the day before. Then a stampede of monsters from the Forest of Deception thundered out, hunting down a panicked band of adventurers straight into their own village. Lunkin fires a grim, right-on-the-money question: what in the world happened to those adventurers? His eyes darken like the world's already given up on him, and the air feels dead too. Pippin's silence is the only answer, and the whole guild erupts in shock and horror. Everything's gone bad. Those monsters came straight from the dungeon's middle levels. Lunkin leans in and drops the truth: there's no magic forest at all, because the Forest of Deception is a fake dungeon built by a dungeon master. A wild five-tier labyrinth built from twisting roots and towering trees. Aurora cracks open her records and dives straight into the details. The middle floors are packed with a brutal lineup of monsters that'll tear you apart. And sometimes even C-rank nightmares like wyverns crash the party. A monster overflow might be rare, but it's happened before. Dungeons aren't just rooms, they're living ecosystems, and the master drinks all the life inside to spawn even more monsters. As everything spirals out of control, Lunkin snaps that they'll hammer out a plan by tomorrow. The very next day, back in the royal capital. Knight Commander Lawrence is back in the training ring already, his wounds healing so fast it's basically unbelievable. A royal knock hits the door. Princess Cugistoria shows up to see him. She waves her guards away, then puts her entire trust in the kingdom's finest swordsmen. She barges in with terrifying news that could break everything. Her father, the king, just stunned everyone with a brutal call about the dungeon overflowing. He's choosing to abandon it. He's betting that the monster supply can't last forever, and once it runs dry, everything changes. When Lawrence mentions there's a village close by, the princess snaps back that the king's whole plan is nothing but evacuation. Lawrence's eyes narrow hard because something here is seriously, dangerously wrong. The king's throwing a tantrum over war. He's refusing to send his army and banning even the top-ranked adventurers from stepping in. Also, he can march against the neighboring empire himself. The princess is reeling after everything her father just did. He went from clinging to Count Morgstad's daughter like she was his destiny, to suddenly ditching his own people altogether. They stare out at the capital, hearts racing, wondering if this road they've chosen will finally crack open a brighter future. Back at the guild, Lunkin slams a royal decree onto his desk and rages, cursing the pig-headed king to hell. What has to be done, no excuses, no waiting. He storms downstairs to where Pippin and the others are already waiting. Then he smashes the silence with brutal news: no army is coming. Even worse, this guild isn't allowed to send a single C rank or anything above it, and all they can do is throw an evacuation escort at the situation. Paya, one of Anilka's rookies, snaps and screams, "Are you really going to abandon us?" Her voice cracks as fury and despair explode, because they can't just walk away from their homes and fields, not after everything they fought for. She demands answers. Why won't the army step in and help? And when Lunkin can't answer, she slams forward and attacks him, yelling, "You bastard." She shoots back that if nobody else steps up, she'll take the fight to the monsters herself. Aurora pleads with her, "These are just G ranks. This is straight up a suicide mission." But Paya's done talking. She's decided. No dungeon. She's staying right here to guard her home with everything she's got. She turns to her friends, and before anyone can even blink, they nod and swear they'll stand by her. As they push for the exit, Aurora begs them, "Please stop," her voice cracking with urgency. Then Gloria snaps into action. She flexes, orders Lunkin to stand down, and drops the bomb. She's already 2 moves ahead. She cracked a loophole, and now she can set up special subjugation and escort requests that only lower-ranked adventurers are allowed to take. The purse strings are pulled so tight that only a few brave adventurers can even get in. But she's already sending word to the royal capital, begging for help. The official request goes live for everyone to see. And Lunkin throws out the call, "Does anyone here from this guild have the guts to step up?" Meanwhile, deep inside the royal capital's guild, adventurers are grumbling non-stop because the Forest of Deception has 0 quests for them. Just then the door swings open, and in strides the legendary party back again. The 4 Eastern Stars get ready because the whole fate of the East hangs on them. The whole guild is buzzing because they just showed up. The receptionist lays it all out. The place is swarming with monsters, and a royal decree slams down: high rankers can't be deployed. Since no official orders came in, they're basically stuck with their hands bound. But their leader, Solus, just smiles. There's pure defiance blazing in her eyes. The kingdom's acting like we shouldn't move, but I don't remember ordering anyone to stand down, do I? Absolute savage, Lufal found. She whips around to her team and asks, "You ready to move?" Their destination is locked in, no more guessing, we're heading straight there. The 4 eastern stars are already on the move, and something huge is coming. Our boy and Lavia run a quick status check, and boom, my girl's soul rank rockets from 6 straight up to 8. He's already calling it, she'll hit rank 11 by tomorrow, easy. But Lavia isn't cashing in her loot at the guild, she's out there hunting down some super specific herbs. They're not going to the Adventurers Guild, nope. They're marching into a dark, torchlit hallway towards something far more exclusive. Inside, a scarred dude with a "don't test me" aura is sprawled in a chair. This is Kelbeck, the Thieves Guild's boss, and he wastes zero time, straight up asking if there's some dirty reason you showed up. Our main man stays ice calm and tells us he's heard black moon grass can cure kidney sickness, something he only learned from a friend. Then bam, he drops a bombshell, voice low but ironclad. That friend is already gone. Kelbeck tries to mess with him, smugly claiming he never thought our lone wolf hero had friends, but that guy just snaps back so hard it shuts the whole thing down. None of your business. Savage. The whole vibe snaps into something tense. Kelbeck leans in and asks whether the actor he sent out actually did the job. And then it hits, this job is insane. Someone helped a certain count's daughter disappear from her carriage, leaving not a single trace behind. Kelbeck couldn't believe it, someone just poofed out of thin air like it was nothing. And that sparks our hero's instincts, because he suddenly remembers the time someone slipped into a room so quietly, nobody even sensed a thing. Kelbeck leans in with a wicked grin, and you can practically smell the trouble brewing. So tell me, was this all just a coincidence? That's the final straw. Our guy completely snaps, twisting his face into a full-on rage mask. So what are you trying to say? He snarls, and Kelbeck is so rattled he nearly tumbles out of his chair. The guild master slams his hands up and backpedals like a wild man. Whoa, whoa, just kidding, just kidding. He blurts out a non-stop apology, over and over, like he can't afford a single second of silence. And our hero, pure pragmatist, takes a deep breath and tells him, "We can still do business," and Kelbeck just lets out a heavy sigh, like he's already clocked that this kid is nothing but trouble. Kelbeck hands him his parting gift, deadly useful magic items. One that blasts clean holes through walls, another that fuses fire and wind into a massive explosion, and even snagged a healing item by bribing a priest from the temple. Yeah, our boy just proved he's smarter than fate, and this is gonna save him real soon. 2 days later, the Adventurers Guild erupts in chaos, because the moment a dungeon overflow is declared, the whole place goes up in flames. Then it hits, Pola's hometown is smack in the danger zone. But here's the twist, this zone is now off limits to anyone below D rank, and our boy is stuck as a pathetic G rank. But this guy's got his homework done, he straight up calls it out. The kingdom is quietly ditching the forest, even though it's a literal gold mine. He lays out his wild theory, this isn't real at all. It's an artificial dungeon printing profit like crazy. But the guild receptionist is sweating bullets like her life depends on it. He keeps pressing because a natural mind is worth way more than gold, and the kingdom is cooking up something huge like a war. She buckles under the pressure, cracks under the strain, but our boy steps in, lets her breathe, and tells her, "I get it." He hears that Pola and her crew have already booked it to Manhwa, then shoots a quick thank you to the poor, flustered receptionist. He steps outside and there's Lavia, standing right in front of him like she never moved a muscle, having eavesdropped the entire time thanks to her new perception concealment skill. She breaks the news, she leveled up and dumped every single point straight into stealth and agility. That's when he smirks like he owns the room and drops the truth bomb. He can mess with other people's soul boards. Levia freezes in shock, realizing this power only comes alive for someone he trusts with his whole heart. He leans in and asks her what she wants to do about this dungeon mess. He tells her "love ya," and the whole room drops into dead silence. He says letting Pola die would leave a foul taste in his mouth, but Lavalac fixes on one word, dungeon, and her eyes light up because dungeons are literally her favorite thing. Then her mind suddenly rockets to the most obvious conclusion. She's blushing like crazy, and she blurts out, "So, do you like Polar?" Our boy is left totally stunned by this sudden twist, like his whole world just flipped. But Lavia is already in a full-blown emotional meltdown, absolutely sure he's falling for someone else. He spots the fear in her eyes, yanks her in by the shoulders, and speaks with unshakable truth. "Don't worry, I love you." All this time, those 2 stalker nuns are posted up in the distance, eyes glued, absolutely cheering them on. The very next day, the guild is totally empty. The receptionist is freaking out because our hero disappeared. She's sure he's already booked it for Manhwa. Her friend grabs her by the arm and whispers the piping hot gossip about what really went down at the Royal Capitals Guild. No matter what the headlines are, the world already knows this is huge, and they're bracing for everyone who's about to be forced into action. Meanwhile, our hero and Lavia thunder across the countryside on horseback, guns blazing as they race to catch up with Pola's party. Then far off in the distance, they spot smoke exploding upward into the sky. A cabin erupts into roaring flames, burning everything in its path. A bunch of thugs are posted up outside, guarding the place like they're ready for trouble at any second. And our boy watches, horrified, as one of them storms over and kicks a girl in a hood straight to the ground. Without even a heartbeat of hesitation, he tells Livia, "Come on, let's go." Inside the inferno, Pola and her friends are choking on smoke, cornered with no way out. They already know this fight is basically suicide. But Priscilla snaps into action. She bets everything on waiting for the wall to crumble, then launches straight at them without hesitation. Then right as the flames roar, one calm voice slices through the chaos, saying, "If we slip out the east window, nobody will be there." And sure enough, our heroes perched in the window frame like this is nothing at all. The whole party freezes in total shock, like lightning just hit their souls. Pola's eyes went wide as she could barely process what she was seeing. Hikaru-sama. He shoves them forward. This whole place is about to collapse. They scramble outside the second the roof starts caving in. A ridiculously close call, one tiny slip away from total disaster. His plan is crystal clear. Levi is hiding nearby, and the second he gives the word, she'll unleash magic to smash the cabin and spark full-blown panic. Right when everything's going smooth, the party's resident hothead blows it all up. He screams a challenge at the bandits. Our boy lets out one tired sigh, completely done with this guy's nonsense. Before the clash can even ignite, a blood-curdling scream tears through the air like a warning flare. A dazzling white knight just materialized out of nowhere, and before the bandits could even blink, one of them was already crumpled on the ground. This newcomer's an absolute beast. She takes one look around and clocks the whole situation with a cold, icy stare. She screams, "I declare you under arrest," and points her sword like a spotlight right there, in the land of the 4 eastern stars. Talk about an entrance that hits like thunder. With the bandits gagged and tied up, Solus strides forward and fires into the group with an urgent speech. That hot-headed guy is spilling non-stop gratitude, and she just waves it off with a laugh. But our main man is locked in on her like a hawk, eyes narrowed tight with pure suspicion. Pola sizes him up and calls him nothing more than a random passerby. And he goes along with it, claiming he just happened to be headed to Menelka. He lets out a quiet inner sigh of relief, because Levia doesn't end up exposing herself. He snaps it all together. Those 4 eastern stars were likely the original crew meant for Transport Levia, but they got swapped out for some weaker C-rank bunch, and yeah, something sketchy is definitely going down. He yanks up Salus's soul board, rank 41, and the moment he sees it, he realizes she's on a whole different planet. Her sword skill sits at a perfect 5, one tiny point from the sword saint himself, and yeah, this woman is a certified monster. So Luz sends her crew out to patrol the area and keep watch. And it hits our boy, if all 4 of them are this freaking strong, then yeah, they're a massive threat. Salus snaps her focus back to him, asks if he's really headed to Menelka on a whim. "So tell me, are you confident or just clueless?" The tension hits the air like lightning. The adventurers pull him in and beg him to stay with them. And Pola, cheeks burning, blurts out that she'll give him her own room. He tries to slam the door on the idea, begging to go by himself. But they keep insisting, won't let up. Salus rips into him for being stubborn, and he slides out the smoothest excuse you've ever heard. Meanwhile, I'm freaking out because women are everywhere, and yeah, I'm painfully shy. He storms off and she's left staring after him, eyes full of curiosity. After what feels like forever, the party finally crashes into Menelka, and the town erupts with a hero's welcome. Solus fires up the villagers with a speech that hits like thunder. And just like that, we run into another crew member, Sophie, a high-ranking cleric. Pola can't even hide it, she's totally starstruck, feeling like she's in a whole different league next to these pros. Turns out the village chief is Pola's dad, and when they finally face each other, the reunion hits so hard it turns into full-on tears. He turns to her and begs, "Show Sophie around town," and just like that, the tour starts. That night, our boy and Lavia finally get a moment alone, campfire crackling under a blanket of stars. She leans in and asks what he really thinks about the 4 eastern stars, and he admits he can't drop his guard around them, but then he can't help praising Salus's grace and skill. The moment another woman's name hits the air, Levia puffs her cheeks into a huge, stormy pout. Jealousy straight up, no question about it. She blurts it out at last, cheeks burning, mortified that her own feelings are spilling onto the floor. He bursts into laughter, and somehow it makes the whole thing feel downright adorable. Then he finally confesses the real reason he wanted to go alone was simple. He just wanted more time alone with her. He asks if his pathetic jealousy disappointed her, and she grins because it actually makes her happy. He lights up with a warm smile, and honestly, seeing you here makes me happier than ever. They steal a quiet, tender moment together, like the whole world fades away. The next morning, the adventurers head to meet the village chief. Only the entire town crowds outside, arms crossed and voices loud, demanding to hear the plan. Our hero and Lavia decide to scout the area, slipping past the crowd like ghosts to catch every secret conversation. Inside, the chief is on his knees, begging them to clear out the dungeon. But Salas snaps and explains that trying this with only 4 people just won't work. They're on a single, brutal job, by every second they can while everyone else escapes. The chief refuses to walk away from their fields, the one lifeline they've got. Then Sala, one of the adventurers, suddenly picks it up, someone spying on them, listening in. She storms through the hall, but it's totally empty. That's because our boy and Lavia are clinging to the ceiling, using stealth to the max, and man, that was *way too close. He rips open her stats, and holy hell, she's got a whopping 5 points in instinct. But then bam, a voice bursts out from the room across the hall. It's that silent, hooded girl, Sirica. Salas swings the door open and freezes. This room is empty, and the window S thrown wide like the culprit just escaped. Outside, Sirica corners our hero and leans in close. So tell me, are you satisfied? And Lavia is totally relieved they never got caught. But our hero's face twists grim like he just cracked the truth wide open. And the hooded girl, her name is Sirica Tanu. Lavia pieces it all together, the weird name, the jet black hair, and suddenly the truth hits. Could it be him? His eyes squeeze shut with focus, and a deadly seriousness settles on his face. Yeah. He yanks out her soul board, and the last missing piece snaps into place like it was made for this moment. No doubt she's from another world, and it hits him like a truck, the moment weighing him down so hard, just like it did to me. Our boy and Levia finally get a quiet moment, but don't get comfy. The conversation's anything but calm. He leans in and asks if this new person is another worlder too, just like him, and Levia tells him yes. Her name's Sirica Tenu, another transplant ripped straight out of Japan. But listen, her soul board is at a wild, totally unhinged level of 104, while veteran adventurers barely touch 41, and yeah, something fishy is definitely going on with that number. Our main man starts freaking out, wondering if she knows about what happened. Then he thinks, maybe I should reach out. But Lavia, steady as ever, slips her hand into his and reminds him, don't chase danger for no reason, because this isn't a solo mission. Her expression melts into something sweet, then a rosy blush creeps in as she whispers, I've got you. With everything finally set, our hero locks in that relentless look, like he can already see the finish line in his mind. The 4 eastern stars are playing it safe, staying sharp, locking in on defense for the village, and pushing the civvies into evacuation before it all goes up in flames. But our guy doesn't do that whole defensive thing. Livia clocks his vibe the second it hits. He drops the bombshell. They're not just defending the village, they're going after the dungeon master and crushing him. This dungeon sits deep inside the infamous Forest of Deception, where monsters crowd every shadow like they own the place. Lavia can read this lunatic's mind like it's written on the wall. With the most casual, confident grin you've ever seen, this guy straight up declares, I'm charging in alone. Lavia snaps into action, lunges for him, and screams that it's way too dangerous. She grabs his sleeve and pleads, take me with you. But he nudges her back with care and tells her straight up, those huge, show-stopping attacks of hers are the exact opposite of stealth, and this mission demands silence, not fireworks. He strikes the deal, and if there's even a 1% chance it blows up, he's out, pinky promise. Her eyes brim with tears, her voice shaking as she warns him, if he doesn't come back, she'll chase after him herself. That raw emotion slams into him like a punch. And he yanks her into a crushing hug, whispers into her hair, don't worry, I'll be back, I promise. Plan locked in, he has one mission, keep Levia safe, and that's when he spots Polar at the local church. Right as a crew of adventurers barrels into town. He snatches Pola's attention in a split second, throws a sharp shush at her, and shuts her up before she can accidentally shout his arrival to the entire village. He introduces Levia like a brand new weapon, right there in his party lineup. Then he thumps down a huge bag of coin, grinning as he offers to foot her meals and pay for a place for her to crash for a few days. Pola's all flustered and won't take the money, because he's already saved her life twice. But our guy stays cool, swearing it's nothing more than a donation to the church. Once the deal's locked in, he leans closer and drops the hook. He's got one last little favor he needs you to grant. He needs them to keep Lavia's presence hush-hush, because the truth is, she's absolutely terrified of men. Lavia immediately crumbles into tears like it's perfectly timed, and wow, Paula swallows it hook, line, and sinker, vowing to protect her. With Lavia safe in capable hands, our hero is raring to go. Just then, a scout rockets back into the village. Tear off the dashes and see the action explode. Bad news hits hard. Around 100 monsters are charging straight at them, like a nightmare on the move. The fresh-faced adventurers just scoffed, claiming it'll be a cakewalk, because half of the crew are nothing but tiny fry. These tiny troublemakers only become dangerous when they team up and swarm you. But the scout isn't done yet. This horde is packed with deranged nightmares, like lesser basilisks, a trant, and even a freaking lost man. Right before panic can even start, the eye-patch-wearing leader of this new crew slams his fist to the ground and roars that his squad, Wildhorn, will take care of the heavy hitters. He doesn't just show up, he fully takes charge, declares that this is Pawn's turf, and says they're here on official commission. He straight up tells the local adventurers to sit down and let the pros take over. The locals seethe with rage, but the Wildhorn squad just strides away like they don't even hear them. Levia's party locks eyes and decides, no sitting back, they're going to help. She tells Pola and Paya, go calm the villagers down, you've got this. While everyone else rushes out to throw themselves into the battle. As they head out, Paya starts venting, saying how terrible men are, and she doesn't hold back. Pola rockets to our hero's defense on the spot, but Paya isn't buying it. What's so great about someone that skinny and all bones? She scoffs. She starts to get genuinely suspicious, grilling him hard about how he somehow made it out of the goblin attack, and even the burning cabin. She shoots daggers at the memory, like she doesn't trust a single word it says. The archer has to shove them apart with his own hands, because he's trying to drill one thing into their heads. An entire army of monsters is coming fast. They finally gave in, took up patrol duties, and shoved the villagers towards safety before anything could go wrong. Levia meanwhile is fuming, so disrespectful to you that she snarls with rage in her eyes, but our hero stays cool, tells her to calm down and they tear off toward the forest, ready for whatever horrors and secrets are waiting in the trees. The fight's already kicked off, and the Wildhorn crew is shredding the fodder monsters like they're nothing at all. Their mage hurls a blazing flame wall, carving the battlefield to trap the enemies, and the leader cackles like a villain, bragging how pathetic they are, exactly the kind of chaos that pays quick cash. From up in the branches, he admits it, his aim and control are actually pretty sharp. But Lavia knows the real test is about to explode into action. Right on cue, one villager shrieks as a massive trent explodes out of the trees. Snatching some helpless fool, he chews straight through the sky like it's his next meal. But the Wildhorn leader doesn't blink. He sneers that the trant isn't the threat they should be worried about. His mage hurls a savage flame lance, and the giant tree monster gets completely erased in a blinding burst of fire. The adventurers throw their hands up, convinced this is gonna be an easy win. Big mistake. While they're partying, the real danger strikes. Out of nowhere, a terrifying lost man lunges, its claws hovering just inches from a guy's neck. Right when it hits, an arrow whistles past his ear like a warning shot, and the adventurer barely escapes death. It's the archer girl up in the tree and crouched like a trap, grinning down at everything below her. Yeah, go ahead and try to look cool, she'll troll you, but if you keep pushing your luck like that, you're gonna get yourself killed, got it? The other adventurers swoop into the brawl, slicing through the last monsters with razor-fast swipes. The Wildhorn leader scrambles to save face, insisting they're on a subjugation quest, and swearing they did nothing wrong. But the archer snaps out that the main target, the lost man, slipped away using camouflage after she hit him, and that means the mission is a total loss, my dudes. And just like that, the first wave crashes in, and it's wiped out. Elsewhere, two greedy adventurers are looting spirit stones off monster corpses like it's their payday. They're so locked on the loot that they don't even clock the other lost man sneaking up behind them. One of them suddenly shivers, cold air slashes his skin, then he whips around and finds absolutely nothing. That's because our guy just snuck in and absolutely crushed it with his stealth skill. Even in disguise, his absurdly sharp detection skills zeroed in on it instantly. He can feel the enemy numbers swelling, one pulse at a time. All right, time to kick it into high gear. He bolts into the woods and disappears from sight. Deeper in the woods, he spots the entrance, and it's supposed to be night, but the sky won't dim here, the dungeon glowing with an eerie, unnatural light. A grin snaps onto his face. This is it, his very first dungeon, and it's happening right now. The walls look weirdly see-through, and that's gotta be the reason they call it the Forest of Deception. He strays onto a path that splits open into a massive, endless corridor. Then he slams straight into a whole pack of lesser basilisks. He produces the perfect test subject, then whips out a throwing knife. And he whips it through the air with laser precision, landing one straight between the eyes, then it drops like a switch. He's completely stunned by how strong he's become, like his power just blew his mind. The other bird lizards lose it, panic hits, and they scatter, bolts flying everywhere. He runs a quick check on his abilities and boom, sees it. His assassination is maxed out and paired with sharpshooter, any stealth attack auto crits. That's a straight-up broken combo. He starts weighing whether to try a whole new weapon next. But he grits his teeth and pushes even deeper into the dungeon. Back in the village, tension is snapping through the air, thick and terrifying. A fresh wave of monsters is crashing in on their way here. Pola watches the gap between each attack shrink, and it keeps getting worse with every single rush. Pai still rocks total confidence that Salyus's crew can take care of this. But Pola's not chasing fantasies, she's thinking smart because they can't keep their guard up forever. Paya finally worked up the courage to talk to her dad, the village chief, about evacuating everyone. He's standing shoulder to shoulder with the other village elders. And the second it's said, she pushes them to bail right now. Her father shoots back coldly, "Weren't you saying yesterday that Salusum would be fine?" And the way he dismisses it stings. He snarls that the villagers are nothing but dead weight, and Paya snaps back instantly. The other adventurers are cracking, this endless fight is draining them, and deep down they know no backup is coming. The village chief steps in and confirms it. No other adventurers, no military, no one else is coming. These tomato farmers cling to the only thing they've ever had, their fields, tilled by their grandparents before them. Leaving isn't even on the table. Everyone knows one thing for sure, if they stay, death is waiting. But if they run, they'll burn through their money fast and end up dying all the same. Pola's fist tightens with raw frustration. She finally gets it. Staying silent is basically the same as telling them, "Die here." Paya is seething at her father for badmouthing her, then taking it one step too far. Pola yanks her arm, determined to stop her before it's too late. "Your father is hurting so bad," she's trembling as she screams, pure, raw emotion crashing over her in that exact moment. Pia's jaw drops and her words vanish into pure shock. Pola snaps she can't take it anymore, and tears pour down her face as the crushing, impossible weight of everything finally settles on all of them. He bolts an apology, and then Polar slams into him with a savage hit. She flings herself onto the bed and breaks down in uncontrollable sobs. She came up with the plan and got Paya sent straight to the chief to talk. "I'm the worst," she sobs, and total helplessness crashes over her like a tidal wave. A thunderous knock slams the door, shattering the silence. It's her father, the pastor. The moment he locks eyes on her tear-soaked face, he instantly understands. He finally admits it, he was selfish after all, born in this village and refusing to leave it behind. He spots something off about her and blurts out, "Did you meet someone special?" And Bala flinches hard, utterly rattled and blushing as she tries to find the words. Right as an image of our hero flashes into her head. Her father just grins, so relieved to see she's finally cracking out of her shell. He softly guides her to the dining room just before the soup goes cold. Meanwhile, inside the adventurer's tent, where the tension is thick and everything could snap any second. The 4 eastern stars are completely wiped out from pulling an all-nighter. They're staring at a massive, burned-out patch on the east side of the forest, where the monsters are gone for good, leaving nothing behind but bitter ashes. The party's fire mage snaps that they had nothing to do with it. Curiosity hit full throttle, and the two of them bolted off to investigate. Those scorch marks scream spirit magic, hard and heavy, like a whole blast of powerful spells hit, and yeah, definitely not just one simple shot. Staring at the towering ash piles, they knew one of them had to be a Trant. That kind of power screams D-rank magic, maybe even B-rank, depending on who's throwing it. The leader gives her companion's head a playful pat, amused as she breaks down the whole analysis. They suddenly uncover a hidden powerhouse right inside the village, an ally no one saw coming. If it didn't make sense, the monsters would have already flooded the place and taken it over. But tell me, why are they still dodging the truth? From a safe distance, Levia keeps her eyes on them, and when they finally clock what's going on, she knows they've figured it out. She realized someone was sealing off the east and south flanks, and they were stretched thin. Her fist clenches over her heart, and worry twists her face as she can't stop thinking about Hikaru. She clings to his promise, praying with everything in her that he'll be all right. Deep in the dungeon, our hero is blazing forward, shredding through every step. He spots a perfectly kept staircase, and it beckons him deeper. He smirks and says the dungeon is being way too hospitable for its own good. But his sarcasm gets instantly wiped out when a colossal shadow bursts out of the darkness. A freakin' lesser wyvern, just a C-rank monster, slam bursts into the scene like a nightmare. This thing is massive, like seriously, it's huge. Yeah, the name sounds scary, but this beast is an absolute menace. Even the 4 eastern stars would struggle to keep up with this one. The wyvern whips and thrashes wildly, its head wobbling like it can't even find its footing. And our hero smirks, yep, it's landing right where his trap was waiting. As the beast crumples, he springs onto its back and drives his blade straight into its weak spot, an almost flawless stealth kill. He can't hide the disappointment when he clocks that his rank didn't budge. He puts it together, those dungeon monsters aren't real at all. They're fake, soulless pseudo-things meant to be absorbed. So yeah, no rank up is happening here, even after life-or-death battles. So yeah, make sure you're leaving behind those valuable spirit stones and gorgeous gems. Something about this whole mess still gnaws at him, like it won't let him breathe. Just as he tries to process it, the whole dungeon erupts, rattling and roaring like it's about to break open. He braces tight as a tsunami of pure power crashes over him. What the hell did they just unleash, and why is it barreling straight toward Manga? He realizes one brutal kill won't stop the monsters outside anymore, so he scrambles to escape right now before it's too late. Back in the village, Levia sprawls on her bed, finally letting her guard down. Suddenly, a brutal tremor rips through the whole town. All the adventurers spill out of the place, dazed, bewildered, and absolutely terrified. Lavia jolts awake as the chaos erupts around her. She yanks the door wide open, and the moment it swings, her eyes flare with absolute, jaw-dropping shock. A terrifying, absolutely massive dragon just crashed onto the scene, its colossal body towering over the entire village like it doesn't even belong in this world. Is it another staircase? He mutters, fed up and absolutely done with cardio for the day. This isn't some plain stairwell, my friend, this is the 5th floor, the root level, and it's a pitch-black maze called the Forest of Deception. No light at all down here, and our hero is pushing through the nightmare with just his magic lamp in hand. A quick glance at his stats screams disaster. He's basically running on fumes with just 3 skill points left. Up to this point, he's been pure chaos, just mowing down everything in his way, from creepy executioners to those lesser wyverns. But this place feels like dark, uncharted territory, pure shady vibes, time to move smart and keep things safe. He rips through his remaining points, maxing out life concealment and magic concealment. Dungeons are infamous for throwing ridiculous puzzles at you, locking doors and guarding treasure chests like it's all some twisted game. But this floor is a full-blown maze, straight up nothing but twists and turns. He's betting this is the perfect hunting ground for adventurers to rake in rare, valuable monster drops. Then a blinding light flickers in the distance. He steps into a huge chamber, totally stunned. Electricity on the 6th floor, huh? The ceiling is lighting up with a creepy, web-like pattern, exactly like what showed up on the very first floor. A tiny wisp of light zips up beside him. Don't worry, it chirps, while our boy's mind spins like, wait, where did you even come from? What an unhinged, shadowy place, like something lurking in the dark. But in the blink of an eye, his confusion freezes into ice-cold dread. His eyes go wide the moment he spots something massive sprawled in the middle of the room. A dragon. A massive, scaly monster is dead asleep, sprawled like a living nightmare. His thoughts sprint in circles. Could that really be the dungeon master? A true dragon for real? But before he even has time to think, a slitted, reptilian eye snaps wide open. With a thunderous roar that rattles the dungeon's bones, it bellows, go, oh goes there. The brutal wave of sound hits our hero like a wrecking ball, and it knocks the breath clean out of him. How did it even clock him? His stealth was maxed out, so when panic finally hits, it hits hard. He clenches his fist and grinds down his panic, forcing calm as his heartbeat slams wild chaos against his ribs. He knows if he lets his temper flare, his stealth will crack wide open. The dragon senses nothing at all and fires off the same question again, who goes there? Right there, our kid finally figures it out. This isn't magic at all, just insane instincts so sharp they're basically unfair. For now, the beast's exact hiding spot is gone, lost somewhere out there. He drops into a crouch, sweeps his gaze across the floor, and then it hits him, a faint glimmer like some practiced skill or real magic. He spots a massive, intricate web of magic detection, threads blanketing the entire floor. It's a hellspawn tripwire. If he even taps one thread, that dragon instantly locks onto his exact position. And in this tiny space, if he breathes fire, it's over. He's getting turned into vapor. He tests his limits. Can he max magic concealment to level 5 and sneak right past? Wait, hold up, he needs to think. Those threads might not be sensing magic at all, maybe. They're just a weight detector or a tripwire that screams when someone's physically there. The moment everything jolts, the view snaps upward. Now we're staring down from above into the heart of a village square. Walled in by a plain wooden fence. Chaos reigns. A terrifying white dragon is going on a full rampage, and Salis with her party is locked in, staring it down. Down, she screams like it's the end of the world. Right as the beast unleashes a planet-shaking roar. The shockwave blasts through the crowd and hurls everyone into the air. Her companions yank their hands to their ears, groaning through the wave of unbearable pain. The ground is choking on the injured. This is nothing but a full-blown slaughter. The scarred old warrior with the eye patch rallies every survivor he can find. If you're still awake, break off, split up, and get the residents evacuating right now. Salus stands firm, shield up right in the blast line. We're buying you time. The old man is left frozen, staring. So tell me, are you really going to face this roar alone? Then she throws these loose, sharp glares at the beast like, yeah, I get you. Her voice snarls with pure contempt as she spits, and don't think humans are the only ones smart enough to talk. She names it straight up a dungeon monster, a mindless killer with no mercy. But the dragon's voice rumbles out ancient, powerful, unforgettable. Indeed, it says, I'm the white dragon, the brother of the black dragon, and the strongest of all. It slams the ground so hard the earth gives way, and then there's another one. The dragon taunts her, aren't you going to strike? Is that sword on your waist just for show? Soulless tightens against her hilt, and she spits back, nonsense. This blade's already tasted the blood of countless dragons. Then she whips around and yells to her friends, Plan B. Then he rockets right back to bolt. But it's a savage feint. Then the dragon snaps its head around and with a loose pivot, drives a brutal right hook clean into its jaw. The punch blasts the massive beast backward, and before it can recover, she whips in with a crisp slash that carves straight across its face. The villagers can do nothing but gape in pure, wide-eyed awe. She raises her blazing sword to the sky, and the light practically roars. It finally revealed its true name, the White Ray Blade. The crowd murmurs in awe because that's Salis's legendary weapon and the Sun Maiden herself. A legendary blade said to slice clean through anything, once magic surges into it. She's finally going full throttle. She sucked in a breath, and this time the feint actually worked. But she knows she can't take her down head-on, so she's going to stall, choke the flames back, and stay just out of reach. What's the matter? Those taunts got you stuck. Come on, I bet you'll choke it out again. The dragon doesn't even flinch. I get it, you're trying to buy time. Then it just snaps and ignores her like she's nothing, pure unhinged cruelty. It whips its head around and blasts a fire beam that wipes out a nearby house in an instant. Blazing flames swallowed the people alive. A man's scream gets snuffed out in an instant. Wake up when the dragon cackles, it snatches Solus's voice right out of him, and he can only stand there stunned. Yoshi plants the seeds. Then the dragon launches into a terrifying monologue, warning that only fools murder for the thrill. Then it blurts out, my purpose is to kill humans, and its shadowy master's form materializes right behind it. Now that its master snapped the dungeon shackles to pieces, it breaks free and finally unleashes the one purpose it was born for. Then it blasts out yet another brutal wave of destruction. The village caught fire and bodies lay scattered across the ground. Salus can only stare as her face hardens into a mask of raw, unfiltered fury. Her fist clamps down on her sword so hard her knuckles turn ghost white. Forget the long-range fights, now it's all about closing the distance, because up close is the only way. The dragon snaps its focus back onto her. Her eyes blazing, she vows she'll make it understand. Humans are here, and they could kill a T. So you're coming, the dragon sneers right back at you. The charge surges, so loose it now, and I'll run straight at you and take you down. She slips under the brutal bite before it can sink in. He lunges aside as a tail swipe slams down and cracks the earth, and slips right beneath the dragon's towering, massive frame, clashing her shield against its claws. She darts through its assaults like a ghost, slipping every strike, spots a crack in the defense and pounces on it. With a final, desperate scream, she swings her blade down and chops the dragon's whole arm clean off at the shoulder. The wind doesn't last, her attack siphoned almost every drop of magic out of her, and she crumples onto one knee. That white ray blade hits like a truck, because the harder the target is, the more magic it devours. She's wrestled with stone and metal before, but this time she totally misjudged how brutally tough its scales were. The dragon's got one arm missing, and it glares at her like pure hatred. I'll never forgive you. She did it, now all that attention locks onto her, and there's no turning back. Her friends are carrying out the real plan B, retreat. She just needs to grab them a little more time. Meanwhile, the evacuees huddle on a hill and stare down at everything unfolding. Paya finally spots her father, and he tells her right there that she's safe now. But Paya won't back down. She demands to see a dragon slayer up close, then blasts her dad as a ridiculous idiot for running. She's a total solo fangirl, so she dares the leader of the 4 Eastern Stars to prove he can take down a white dragon. Her friend Sarah tries to snap her back to reality, but she lets it slip anyway, so she retreats and loses herself in the process. But Diggs in his heels. She decides she'll jump in and help no matter what it takes, even if time's running out. Just like that, the as if on cue disaster spirals, and a monstrous horde tears out of the woods. He can't believe the timing, are you kidding me? She groans, whips around to her friend and says, I'll buy you all a little time, now run. She snaps at everyone to hurry up. But when he turns around, he sees her dad slumped on the ground, totally crushed. He says calmly, we're not running, and Paya goes, snap, like she heard every word. You heard what Sarah said, right? But her father drops a brutal truth. Why do you think Solus' son is fighting for us in the first place? Because if we ditch this village, all we're walking into is death. The villagers made their choice. They're not running, they're dying right here. He tells Paya to run, get herself to safety. But when he speaks, fire erupts inside her. She clenches her fist like she's about to explode. I'm not walking away while they're risking their life for this village, she declares. She shrieks at her father, you're a coward, idiot, and then she bolts straight back toward the battlefield, leaving her stunned father in the dust. Hala the nun watches her leave, whispers that she's probably crying. The chief still remembers Paya doing this every single time after their fights. His composure shatters, tears blast down his face as he pleads with Paula to grab Paya and run. He knows their village, Manalka, is set to burn to the ground today, and he's terrified he'll never get the chance to make it up to his daughter. Paula drops to her knees in front of the broken man. She snaps him back to what Paya said that morning. If they ditch their fields, they'll die anyway, and their farmers, all they can grow is tomatoes. Their very identity is stitched to this land, like fate carved into the soil. And just like that, she flips the whole story, because where we all end up living, it's right there, Manalka. The villagers just stare, completely baffled. Wait, what do you mean by that? The chief snaps, eyes blazing. Manalka insists she's only Manalka because Dewey lives in this place. She blurts it out like the truth hits her mouth first. She reminds them of their ancestors, people who clawed this village out of a savage forest with bare hands. No matter where we land, it's always Manalka. Fiery determination bursts from her as she gathers them. If their fields are gone, they'll plant new ones just like their ancestors once did. Not on my watch, you don't get to call it impossible, she explodes into screams. Even she, the old crybaby, has finally snapped, and now she can stand toe-to-toe with monsters. Her epic speech lands like a thunderclap, and you feel it in your bones. Her priest father, her own father, claps so slowly that it breaks her heart, tears shining in his eyes. Beaming at the amazing woman his little girl grew into. The clock starts ticking again, so if we're all headed for death anyway, then we better go down like warriors, not like cowards. He glances at Paula, grinning hard. Your words hit me like a punch, and I can't stop thinking about them. He clings to his father's wisdom, because a village isn't land or buildings, it's the people living inside it. He grins like he's daring the world, then he says, all right, let's go. The chief is back, everyone listen. We Manalka's pupils are on the move, and the whole village is kicking off right now. They'll fight through it all and live. Back in the dungeon, our hero stands his ground, face to face with a sleeping dragon, and neither one will blink. So what's he supposed to do, fall back and play it safe, or keep grinding on the 5th floor even though it's painfully inefficient? The question burns in my chest, do I fall back or do I stay and face whatever's coming? He clings to Lavia's words, don't you dare return unless you're safe. Sorry, Lavia, there's that determined glint in his eye. He refuses to bolt without even fighting back. I found a way, the balance skill. The detection threads hug the entrance like a trap, past them. Tiny gaps open up just enough to slip through. All he has to do is not step on them, so he flexes, leaps, and dances across the deadly web like a total pro athlete. He drops down silently right next to the dragon's head, and now he's thinking, all right, how the hell am I supposed to take this thing down? He can't stop thinking about how these pseudo-monsters are basically ripped straight from real-life creatures. He snaps on mana detection, and the dragon's inner structure lights up like a blueprint. He clocks the mana concentration pulsing in its brain and heart. The heart's buried too deep and the head sits too high, but right there in the neck there's a vital artery, the perfect weak spot. Then he explodes off the wall and launches straight into it. The dagger shot straight for the artery. Then the dragon's eye snaps wide, and a brutal tail swipe flings him out of the sky like a cannonball. He crashes into the ground like a cannonball, hitting with a sickening thud. What did you do? The dragon's roar shakes everything. A bone-chilling sound wave rips through his eardrums, and a huge wave of magic surges through him, building fast and furious. A non-stop storm of shots rips through the chamber. The dragon stares into the inferno, then growls, "I can feel you out there, so where are you hiding?" Through the choking smoke, our boy bursts into view, singed, battered, and somehow still alive. His back screams numb, but nothing's shattered, and the wild part is he landed that kick hard enough to crack its scales. He's got his opening. But why in the world didn't his assassination skill trigger? He pieces it all together. There's this tiny delay between the moment the pain hits, his brain processes the attack, and his stealth starts slipping. He only has to slam it out before that tiny window shuts. His eyes narrow. This is it, time to unleash a brand new weapon. He sheathed his knife, then yanked out a vicious-looking dagger, setting himself up for round two. The brand new prototype is finally done, and Hikaru rushes in to grab it, and Elvin Smith thrusts a weird-looking sword into his hands and warns him, it's only good for one use. With a shady wink, he urges our main man to try it on something way bigger than himself. And just like that, the universe hands them a gift. Our unsuspecting heroes glance up, and there it is, the perfect test target, a massive dragon casually lounging in the middle of a field. The white dragon looks pissed because some annoying creep showed up while White's out. It grumbles. This guy's totally baffled. "White," he blurts, "there's another one." He senses a second, terrifying presence lurking nearby, and his stomach drops. This is a full-blown disaster. More than one dragon is here, and now the whole situation is pure chaos. A flying dragon this close to civilization should have been spotted ages ago, so yeah, something shady is definitely going down. He immediately blares for Lavia right away. No time to hide. If this thing fires even one attack, it's going to wipe out the whole nearby village and everyone inside. Our hero lunges into action and flips on his magic detection skill. His target is crystal clear, the dragon's heart, and he's not playing around. He's going for the one-shot kill. Still, the dragon's just standing there, totally stunned, while our boy rockets forward, light and energy crackling into a glowing ball in his hands. "What are you, you bastard? This is all wrong, all those errors." But it's already over. Once the trigger hits, the weapon roars to life, and the blade launches like a missile, sinking deep into the dragon's neck. Just a heartbeat later, real magic explodes into the world. "Blade bomb," our hero snarls under his breath. That weapon is pure chaos wrapped in beauty. Its blade shoots out, bites into the target, then one heartbeat later it explodes from the inside like a trap snapping shut. It smashed straight into his heart like a nightmare lock, and trust me, nobody survives that kind of brutal, perfect precision. The massive beast smashes into the dirt, and our hero collapses against its fallen body, totally wiped out. "I'm done," he rasps, exhausted. But there's zero time to breathe. He spots a glistening black orb half buried in the dust. A gemstone. He stares, breath catching. What if he snatches it right off the ground? He remembers that dragon dropping the word master, and now it all clicks. There's another boss lurking out there, somewhere in the shadows. He charges for the dungeon entrance, rattling off prayers to every god he can name. Please, anything but a black dragon. The camera swings to a rain-drenched village where everything's gone completely out of control. A bunch of cowardly adventurers are bickering on the edge of betrayal, itching to bolt from the villagers and save only themselves. But Salis, the one with the eye patch, snaps and screams, pointing straight at the chaos like, "Wherever the fighting is, there's a woman battling a dragon. Move now." The cowards bolt into panic, whining that they'll only get in the way. And when they finally spot what's going on, their blood turns to ice, because a whole pack of lesser wyverns has shown up. It's finished. One of them lets out a trembling whimper. So Luce steps up, fires them all up, and tells them straight, the three biggest ones are the real danger. But this tiny hooded kid steps out of the shadows. "Who are you?" she asks, and the girl just waves off her demands, then completely ignores her. "This is Lavia, and she's about to flex. Spirits, answer my call," she roars, her voice booming with raw power. "Everything I want, every living soul, and hellfire strong enough to burn away even the laws of nature." The adventurers just stare, blown away to the core. A ridiculously powerful magic circle suddenly explodes up from beneath her feet. Her eyes shut tight as she pours out an insane burst of power. Then the spirits dance, drink up her magic, and sing so fiercely they burn everything to ashes. She hurls her spell into the air, flame roaring like a gospel. A magic circle cracks open, and a tidal wave of pure black flame explodes out like the world just caught fire. engulfing the whole pack of wyverns in one crushing blast. They don't even get a chance to scream. 1 second they're there, the next they're vapor, and all that's left is scorched earth. The adventurers are totally stunned, mouths hanging open like they just saw the impossible. Lovia just dusts herself off like it's nothing, then flashes a quick grin and tosses the rest of the little guys to you. Phew, you've got the small fry. They watch the forest burn, totally stunned and lost for words. After a beat, one of them shoves the loose thing and goes, "Hey, shouldn't we be able to move now?" That yanks her right back to reality, yay. She blasts out a roar and charges at the last monsters with everything she's got. While one fight rages, Sulu's crew is slammed up against a towering dread dragon, an enormous bone-white beast. The beast ripped the air apart with a deafening roar. But the party stays locked in, standing shoulder to shoulder to protect every single one of their own. They finally drag the injured townspeople to safety, but the battle's stuck in a brutal tie. So Luce slams it with a brutal hit, and the dragon's leg wound seals up almost instantly. She clenches her teeth, forcing herself to push through, because she's got a plan and it's only a matter of time. She whips her head around and sees none Paula pull it off. She's gotten every villager to safety. Phase 1 is done, locked in, finished, and moving on. Her plan is brutally simple: hold the line until dusk. A monster this big is too dangerous for the kingdom to ignore, so they'll slip back and let the high-ranking adventurers take over. But the dragon abruptly snaps out of it and stops paying her any attention. It snaps to someone cowering in the rubble. "Wait, Europa," minutes her. Salute S screaming, but that dragon shrugs it off and charges straight at her. Everything spiraled out of control fast. It's Paya, Paula's friend, standing her ground with her sword out and ready. "Why?" Paula snaps, horrified, and I shoot back. "I told you, I'll protect you," Paya screams. She barrels straight at the dragon with fearless courage. But this is a losing battle. Those arrows just skitter off its thick scales like they mean nothing. That dragon doesn't even blink. Yet another adventurer shrieks in pure terror. Paya hurls her sword forward with everything she's got, yet. But the dragon doesn't even flinch, just scoffs, sweeps its tail aside with casual ease, and drives her straight through the chest. Her sword clatters to the ground as her body gets violently flung aside. It's a brutal, gut-wrenching nightmare. Paula can only stand there, frozen in pure horror, watching it unfold. The rest of the crew snaps into action, firing arrows and hurling spells back at them. But that dragon doesn't even flinch. It blasts out an earth-shaking roar, and a brutal shockwave slams across the whole battlefield. Sent the whole crowd tumbling, knocking everyone clean off their feet. The blast explodes with brutal force, ripping the archer's bow to splinters. And just like that, one brutal hit sends him crashing out cold. The dragon snaps its gaze onto the downed archer, Serica, and pure malice burns in its eyes. It snaps those massive jaws wide, ready to blast out a roaring wave of flame. The dragon roars and blasts dark energy straight toward its target. But at the very last second, that nerdy guy lunges and tackles Serica out of danger. "Get a hold of yourself," she screams. Paula sprints to Paya's side, but it's too late. Nothing can stop what's coming. That wound is so bad it won't give him a chance. Paula sobs, it's okay," as she frantically tries to fire off her recovery magic. But Paya's life is slipping away. "Fast, Paula, run," she gasps. Then Paya's whisper turns to a prayer, begging for a miracle as Paula offers up her own body as the sacrifice. But her magic sputters, then dies in her hands. Her hands are smeared with a dark miasma, and it feels all wrong, impossible to believe. Paya keeps screaming at her to run, because this is how it's always been, and the danger never lets up. In a flashback, Paya is revealed as the one who's always taken the hit, throwing herself in front of danger to protect Paula again and again. And that's why today hits the same. Paula feels the whole weight slam into her chest, and then the tears break loose in loud, helpless sobs. "You're my best friend," she thinks, duh, it's so obvious. A giant dragon hangs over them like a nightmare, but Paula doesn't even flinch. She clings to Paya like she'll never let go, and her grief explodes in a scream that'll break your heart. The dragon tightens its grip and readies the final blow, like it's about to end everything for good. Cold eyes locked onto its victims, like it was hunting for the perfect moment to strike. Right when it's about to land the blow, a lone figure suddenly shows up out in the distance. It's Lavia, her face is stone-cold rage. To bring back the pure heavens and earth, she starts chanting and vows to burn everything down to ash. Right when it looked like he was done for good, the dead fighter suddenly springs back to life. She's latched onto the dragon's leg, gripping for dear life while letting out a shaky little laugh. The dragon stares down, completely baffled, thinking your roar was supposed to finish her. Then she cackles, loud and cruel. Like I'd ever let you slip away. She pours every last ounce of her magic into her sword, and the blade bursts into a blinding, glowing light. I'll throw everything I've got at this, she shrieks as she drives the blade deep into the dragon's leg. The dragon screams in agony, but Salis finally lands the hit. She drops to the ground, collapsing hard after buying them the exact time they needed. Flame Gospel Levi screams one more time, and it hits like a thunderclap. Then another jaw-dropping wave of black fire hammers into the beast like a death sentence. The blast rips through the air, and everyone gets thrown into the sky like ragdolls. The explosion roars so hard it rattles the village to its bones, which is where two adventurers get slammed and knocked out cold. Paula tilts her head up, gripping hope, begging the world to let this end. But when the smoke finally thins, dread drops straight into her stomach. A giant claw erupts from the crater like it's been waiting to rip the world open. The dragon's still breathing, and when it rears up, it tears the air apart with a defiant, unholy roar. Towering over Lavia, he reeled from his wounds but refused to stop. He was ready to smash right back into the fight. No way, Paula's voice cracks as she whispers that her hopes are completely shattered. She snaps back into prayer, pleading to the spirits like her life depends on it. Lavia digs in her heels and stands her ground, refusing to back down even as the beast coils up for its next deadly strike. Then Paula's prayers snap into desperate screams, clawing through the silence. Oh God, please save us, save everyone still hacking and fighting for that village. A dragon rockets forward and Levia realizes she's not going to reach in time. Oh no, Bala lets out a blood-curdling shriek. Then everything screeches to a halt. The dragon halts mid-stride like it hit a wall. Paula snaps her gaze upward, totally stunned. A shadow steps right between them and the dragon, and I barely manage to get here in time. That familiar voice calls out. Paula is completely stunned. It's Hikaru-sama, what is he doing here? She stammers, totally thrown. He tells them he just stared at the shattered village and knew something went terribly wrong. He already crushed the black dragon, but now he's out of blade bombs. He was running late, but now he's finally here. He spots Livia bracing herself as a cloud of dust whips up around her. He stares at the white dragon's cracked, mangled scales and realizes, so that's it, I can cut through. Then the thought hits like lightning, this is the moment, all he needs is a weapon. He spots Solus's sword on the ground, and then a magic thread whips from his hand, snatching the hilt like it's alive. He launches forward like a missile, a full-on blur in motion. The dragon whips its head toward him, but it's way too late and the turn crawls slow. With one savage slash, our hero cuts the beast's head clean off. He exhales and a grin lights up his face. Yeah, I don't know who this sword belongs to, but it totally saved my life. He whips his gaze toward the others, watching them rush in and care for the wounded. Then his eyes catch something weird, half buried in the dust. A giant egg of pure light sits there, glowing like a beacon. Then he reaches out, fingers trembling, and goes to touch it. But Lavia's voice slices through the air. Hikaru, don't you dare pick it up. He snaps his head toward her, baffled. She tells him his sudden arrival and the way he wiped everyone out nearly broke her, and after he stammers out an apology, she just exhales a long, tired sigh. Then she spots blood pouring from his ear after the dragon's roar, and she steps in fast, offering to heal him. He leans in close and hisses, so, what about the dungeon? He tells her he's done with it for now, even if it's not exactly perfect. Right then Paula barrels up to them, Hikaru-sama, and she blurts out, voice shaking, what about Peya? His eyes lock onto Paula cradling her dying friend, and the heartbreak hits like a gut punch. Paula's face crumples and I realize, by shielding me, she got dragged into this nightmare. Then she breaks, sobbing through it. I can't heal her no matter what I do. That helpless feeling is crushing her from the inside out, and I'm stuck telling Peya, and you too, Hikaru-sama, that all I've ever been is a burden. Our boy knows he's got a way to flip this whole thing, because the secret power he's been hiding from the world could crank Paula's strength up to impossible levels and turn the unthinkable into reality. But the moment you realize that power is a ticking time bomb, you know you're walking straight into nothing but trouble. He clenches his torn fist, but then his eyes lock onto Paula's despair. And with that, his decision locks in, no turning back. If I leave her here, he thinks, I'll pay for it for the rest of my life, so he locks eyes with her and fires off the only question that matters. Do you want to heal her? Paula and Lavia lock eyes on him, frozen in stunned silence. Paula finds her voice first, and of course I do. She sobs because Peya isn't just my childhood best friend. She's selfish and reckless too, but somehow you still can't bring yourself to hate her. Our main guy's face goes dead serious, like deadly serious. If there's even a way to heal her, can you honestly stake your life on it? He explains, I'm not saying you'll die. I'm saying you'll live on, trapped with a secret you'll never be able to tell a single soul. He leans in even closer. Tell me you're in, because you have to agree to every condition I just laid down, so are you really okay with that? Paula doesn't blink for a second. Her resolve turns rock solid. If Eat Me will save Paya, she'll stake her life on it without the slightest doubt. A faint smirk flickers across his lips, then he lifts his hand, and you just have to close your eyes. She obeys without a word, hands clenched in prayer as he speaks, because when you open those hands again, he swears everything will be different. Paula shuts her eyes, and her soulboard blossoms into existence as she prays for guidance. This guy totally gets the stakes. If you're a regular healing mage, recovery magic level 2 is the norm, but level 4, that's the kind of power you only see in a professional clinic. So of course our main man goes full unhinged, cranks her recovery magic to a wild level 8, then yeets the rest of her points straight into mana. Levi is totally thrown off, but our hero's already set on course. He still feels Paula's raw desperation, and he tells Levia, look, she'd risk everything for her friends, I'm trusting her. It's the same terrifying gamble he made with Lavio when they branded her a murderer, and the same fearless trust she put in him back then, because this is a two-way street. He leans in close and lays out his reasoning, and in that quiet moment, trust finally clicks between them. Believing in others pulled him out, and now he's sprinting to save them right back. With his choice locked in, he slams the board and confirms a massive stat boost. A blazing light erupts around Paula as that power surges through her body. He blurts, so how is this happening? And she feels it, an ocean of mana where there used to be nothing but a puddle. Then he snaps, pour every last drop into your recovery magic. The panic hangs in the air, hurry. He snaps, warning that things are about to get deadly. She steadies her breath, turns to their fallen comrade and begs, please open your eyes. She starts the prayer, pressing her hands to Paya's chest and channeling divine power straight into her. But this heal ain't simple, it's a tidal wave of power, and to keep the whole operation hidden, our boy flips his own shady ability. Mass suppression, a skill that buries overwhelming magic signatures so the outside world can't detect a thing. He slides his hand onto her back and murmurs, right at her ear, that he's got her covered. A blinding burst of light erupts from Paula's hands, and Paya's whole body gets drowned in a radiant, holy glow. Our main man is sure level 8 recovery magic will be more than enough to heal almost anything that hits him. But when Paul unleashes that kind of power all at once, the cost hits instantly. He smashes into her teeth as the mana surge backfires and slams her like a truck, and still she refuses to stop. That horrifying gaping wound across Paya's chest starts stitching itself shut, right before your eyes. Flesh knit itself together and skin slid smooth until every last scar vanished. It worked, then Paula's face lit up with instant relief as she gasps, because her body is healed. The dam inside her snaps and she crumples forward, sobbing out his name in raw gratitude, clinging to him like he's the last lifeline on earth. That poor girl is so overwhelmed she doesn't even notice she's accidentally kicking him, as she blurts out nonstop thanks. He finally calms her down, then squeezes a promise out of her. She'll never, ever tell a soul about this savage power-up. Right as he's trying to catch his breath, Lavia steps in and demands to heal those fresh bruises. Fala, drained of every last drop of mana, throws a protest, but Lavia won't back down. Warm light crashes over him, the pain evaporates instantly, and you can't deny it. The power of a spirit user is straight up unreal. Paula finally sees him healed and stammers out a weak, heartfelt thank you, her eyes fluttering like she's running on fumes. A split second later, she's totally wiped out, fast asleep on the ground right beside the now safe Paya. Lavia rushes over and asks, are you okay? He says yeah, but admits it was a gamble. He only went for it because he had to believe. She gives him a small, respectful nod and says, I'll honor your choice, Hikaru. Just when it looks like peace finally won, our hero drops another bombshell. And yeah, it turns out there's still yet another problem brewing. Levia spots the answer in an instant. If he's here, the dungeon master is already gone, and even she remembers a white dragon prowling these halls. He explains he took down a black dragon with stats just like that, so yeah, that's why Paula's insane healing was the lifesaver, but that wasn't even the real showdown. He yanks out the massive jewel, and that's when the real nightmare starts. Livia snatches the jewel, and her eyes go wide in an instant. Then her curiosity shatters, her face locks into ruthless, ice-cold rage. Hikaru. She steps right into his space, calling out the promise he swore. He'd only swing at the dungeon master if he was dead certain he could win. His confidence evaporates and sweat pours in as he scrambles for some loophole explanation. But the black dragon wasn't the dungeon master, He couldn't stop himself, he had to go for it and bring it down. You idiot, she snaps, her voice shaking. Yeah, even I'm scared. Her rage crumbles instantly, and all that's left is brutal, real fear for him. He yanks her into a tight hug and blurts out apologies, begging her forgiveness for the hell he put her through. He snaps back for a second, then admits it. He didn't beat them by skill alone. His weapon did the heavy lifting, and he just got lucky. And right after that, his smile drops, seriousness hits his face, because the real problem is about to land. He leans in and tells her they need someone chosen, someone blessed with holy powers. While the others are still racing in, every adventurer finally crowds the dungeon entrance, right on the brink of going in. The air hangs heavy and still, like the monsters vanished off the map, and the dungeon feels totally lifeless. They figure the dungeon master must have been wiped out. A rare event, yeah, but it's still totally within the realm of possibility. They have no clue who pulled it off, but they're not about to whine about it. For the surviving villagers, this was the absolute best news they could have ever prayed for. The village lies in ruins, but the elder snaps his finger and makes one thing crystal clear: what's still standing matters most. Their fields, the very heartbeat of their livelihood, still stand almost untouched, like nobody dares to lay a hand on them. Forget the houses, start with the fields, he says like it's the only truth that matters, and then he hammers it home. The people matter more than anything the land can grow. Still, their grief never quits. They mourn every soul they lost to a terrifying enemy they never even saw before it struck. An elder strides up to the adventurers and tells them straight up, "I see you're here to help, even though no guild ever filed an official request." He slams the white dragon's core into their hands as payment. Livia, speaking for the shady benefactor, lays it out. Her delay isn't fear of the plan, it's the mysterious mage who's really the one who pulled it off. Solus, the boss of the Eastern Four Stars, hatches a plan. He and the crew will step in to claim the reward for the brave party that took down the dragon. They'll flip it for profit, pocket half for themselves, then hand over the other half to help rebuild the village. The elder is left utterly speechless by how generous they are. He snatches it with pure gratitude and swears that every last coin will reach the families who got wiped clean. With a plan locked in, the adventurers lane in and decide their next move. Next, they'll stay put for a few days to hunt down every last monster, then turn right back toward the capital. All right, time to shut it down for now and catch our breath. But as the flames crackle, Solus can't shake this strange gut feeling. The mysterious girl is gone, and so is the young adventurer who was with her. So where did they disappear to? Something about this feels wildly wrong, like the universe is about to snap. Things never go the way you think they will. Miles away, our guide guides Levia down a shadowy forest trail, so dark it feels like it's swallowing them. Is this really the shortcut? She blurts, fear shaking her voice. They slip down a secret ladder, dropping deep into the earth where the ground keeps its secrets. Livia groaned as her hands started to burn out on that brutal, long descent. And they finally burst into a tunnel that slopes downward, pulling them deeper. They burst into a massive underground cavern, and Levia goes utterly silent, like her voice just got ripped away. Blinding pillars of light blaze across a space so huge, it feels like you've stepped into a whole new world. Her eyes snapped in every direction, soaking up the massive scale of the whole place. The truth slams into her like a freight train. No help, you really crushed it all alone. He waves her on and yanks her into motion, demanding she follow him. He hauls her to a tiny, plain little room tucked off to the side, and her jaw drops all over again. Huddled in the corner is a pathetic little creature, trembling like it's about to break, and the dungeon master. When my hero finally found it, it freaked out so hard it attacked him on the spot, so he had no choice but to drop it right then and there. But the real trouble is waiting just ahead, he growls as he turns to a towering, sealed door. He shoves it open and rips the door wide. Unveiled a staircase that plunged straight into choking, pitch-black darkness. Lavia freezes on the spot, but he shoots forward, grabs her hand, and silently vows, "I've got you." He squeezes her hand, steady and reassuring. And side by side, they stride straight into the abyss. From the pitch-black silence, a voice booms, ancient power spilling out like prophecy, and you're back on Earth sooner than I ever expected. Levy is stunned, but our main guy stays ice calm. This is exactly where we're going. And he raises a glowing orb in the air, boom, showing the exact origin of that voice. It's the real boss of this dungeon, the beast that shattered the so-called dungeon master with pure terror, a massive, chained-up fire dragon. Two tiny figures face a monstrous force, staring down an impossible power like it's about to break them or bow to them.